I hope you're at least okay. Oh no, y'all. I've been getting weirder and weirder the more I stream. This ain't weird, it's normal. Anyways, my fish tank's been making weird noise. I have to like clean the filter out again. As you can see, it's been working in overtime, trying to get all the algae. And I'm extra shiny today because I put on a Vaseline because my face is dry. I get like a crack in my nose. Not because of snow. Although it's snowing outside, guys, it's so nice. And I have to run tomorrow, but I actually don't know if I'm gonna run or not. My knee's been feeling really good today. I got new shoes, and I was like, and my feet hurt like a little bit, but not as bad as they did yesterday. So I'm like, okay, these shoes are hopefully gonna work. Oh my god. Oh my. It's the other side this time. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chill. This is what I get for like not using actual eyeliner and just using eyeshadow. Who cares? Okay, got my candle going. I'm satisfied. I started doing Arabic again, which is pretty chill. Thank you, thank you. I know I'm doing great. And I got really fuzzy pants, guys. Today is a day where I got lots of good things, good goodies, good goodies, goody goodies, goody goodies. But these pants have like fuzz in them. And I'm gonna wear them when I go outside and run and stuff. And it's so annoying because I was like, oh man, I'm so excited to try running in like the warm weather. But guess what happened? It started getting cold, and tomorrow it's supposed to be like 10 degrees. That's okay. I still do my cardio outside. I still walk a lot because I'm really trying to put more force on my knee again. And today I did legs, which, fun fact, it's like harder for me to work out my hammies than it is like the front of my leg. Which is so weird. It like aggravates my knee more. I wonder why. It's my MCL. Look at the anatomy of my foot and figure out why everything's hurting all the time. Oh, yes. I'm not going to show you right now. Holy fuck, this is massive. I got a notebook, and they gave me a larger size than I asked for. Wait. And that's something I was excited to show you. And I have one other thing I'm excited to show you. Wait, hold up. Hold up. It's relevant. I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at the things I got. I mean, I have a little, but like, not as much as you think. Alright. What is this? What are you? What are you? This is the only time I'm gonna have to like unbox all this stuff because tonight I have a lot of work to do. But wait. Hold up. You guys don't need to see this, but right. I don't remember what this is, and I'm really confused. What the fuck is this? Oh, I got gloves! I got like running shit. Because I've been running outside in the cold, and I've been like wearing, well, not this week, but when I was running like a lot more, like really putting on like at least, 10 miles a week or whatever, I was wearing the wrong clothes, and it was really uncomfortable. But look, I got like winter gloves. I haven't had winter gloves in so long, No fingerprints, guys. Perfect for committing crimes. Grippers. And they have like a touchscreen thing. But this is what I want to show you, okay? Okay. Just imagine me. Imagine me. It's cold outside. Right? And I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm freezing, bruv. What am I gonna do? It's cold. Right? And then I'm getting like snow in my eyes. I cannot see. It's reflecting into my seeing balls. It is all horrible. All negative experience, right? Wait, hold up. Just imagine it, right? Other than that, having a great swell time. Because I actually really like the cold a little bit. I don't mind not having a ton of layers, but this is what I wanted to show you. Look at this! Damn, my face is so round that it looks so goofy. I don't care. I'm so happy about this. I've been waiting for this for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm gonna look so weird, but I love it. Do you see this? To be fair, these don't really look good on like anyone, so I don't mind that, but I love this for me. I'm very happy about it. Just imagine me, like, going fast, right? Like, meow. Imagine how much faster I'll be with these motherfuckers on. Meow, 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 meow. Super fast. I'm really excited. Andrew, do you want to see how fast I am? Do you want to come see how fast I am? Yeah, how fast I am. They match my new shoes, too. No, you should see me. Look at me. I always think it's creepy when sunglasses, like, hide your eyebrows, though. I don't like that. I'm gonna go so fast. Meow. Meow. I'll be hitting PRs like meow. Anyways. Fun over. Must be boring again. Must be doing Twitch boring things. I'm just stoked, y'all. I'm excited. Let's get it started in ya. Let's get it started in here. Oh my god, and it wait, hold up. Wait. I don't like how it covers my eyebrows. That freaks me out. But that's okay. I'm not trying to look hot. I'm trying to look like menacing. No one can see my eyeballs. It matches my pink. I actually really like the color pink. I've been getting back into pink a little bit more. And it's been a vibe. It's been a vibe. I used to hate it. Well, I've always liked pink. But it's like, I go through phases of like pink and green. I like swap. As you can see, I'm in like my lighter color era. Alright. They're UV. They protect yourself from like UV stuff. I have very sensitive eyes, by the way. Like actually really sensitive eyes. So having something that protects me from like the UV, very, very important. Because I just cry. Dora says, hi, what's with the sunglasses? They're my running sunglasses. They make me go fast, yo. Meow. Meow, meow. Imagine how fast I'm gonna go. I don't know, I just felt like showing them. They freak me out. Like, other girlies wear, like, really cute sunglasses when they run. I want to look ugly. I want to look unapproachable, you know? I want to look, like, ugly and not, like, worth a man talking to me. I want to be menacing. I want to be just, like, they'll see me and they'll be like, oh, at least she's working out. Like, I dress up like a butch when I go to the gym because I don't want anyone talking to me. I actually don't look very butchy, but I try so hard. I wear like my band tees and everything. Like down that. They come with a sticker though. I got trash. And I got gloves too. Because I needed like gloves to wear while running. Because I've been wearing my lamb gloves because I have like on the inside it's probably shouldn't have said that. Like, the vegans are going to be mad at me. But anyways, I wear those. But I got these, and they're actually pretty nice. So, I'm going to wear them when I run and it's sunny. or it's like winter and I can't see. Because that's been like an issue. I have like blue-green eyes and they're very sensitive to light, which is really annoying. So like in the winter, I have this problem, not because of the cold, but because of how bright it is with the snow. I just start crying. So I have to wear a lot of sunglasses. It's really annoying. It makes me feel bad. It's okay. And then I got a new bullet journal, which, wait, I was going to show you like the size comparison. This is the size of my normal. This is the size of the new one. Oh, what the fuck? You can see that my cats have attacked it because it's leather. But yeah, I needed that. Anyways, how's your day, George? How is your day? How is your laugh? Anything good? Anything fun happening? That's pretty much all I had today. Yeah. Just a normal day, finishing small projects for the girls. Oh, nice! Nice, nice, nice. I hope it all went well. So far today, I have not done anything exciting. I just went to gym, came home, did homework, work stuff, and then now I chill. I just got my next yearly prep stuff in, so that's why I got so much stuff. That's just that's kind of why I'm showing you all this. But I got like a cute little calendar too. I'm excited. I just needed like some stuff that was easier to work with. Like I needed bigger things because my biggest issue was not having enough space in my planner and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this upcoming year it will be good. And I'm nervous, but oh, hopefully it's nice. And now I've done all the things. I don't really know what else to talk about. I was just really excited about that. I was like, show them the sunglasses. Show them how cursed it is. Hi, Snoop. How are you? Snoopity whoop. How you be? How is life? Hopefully all is well. What is the happening? Oh, you did something mischievous. What'd you do, Snoop? Do tell. Please do not commit crimes. I will not be your alibi. But what'd you do? I really shouldn't say, no, you piqued my interest. If it's a crime, I don't want to know. But people lie about this stuff on the internet all the time, so. What size is this? Okay. Not a crime. I think it's just very silly. Then what'd you do? Ain't no shame in being silly. I literally started the stream off with being a little silly goof. Silly gal. Silly gal. Oh, you joined my Discord server. Oh, fuck. I should probably give you permissions then, huh? Or should I not? Are you crazy? Oh, you did. Hello, Snoopy-chan. Let me give you permission. You're homies now. Yep. We have a Kenny. Oh yeah, he got it. Everyone got their roles. I want you to know, I mainly shitpost here. You can say things if you want to. Like, people can speak all they want. Everyone just kind of lurks at my shitposts. But I encourage you to have fun. Look how big this is. Look how big. Look. See, I'm not that white. I'm pale, but not super pale. Eh. Anyways. I'm just so distracted today. I apologize. Me apologize. You threw eggs at someone's trash bags. What? Wow. How dare you? That is such a crime. Do you know them? Or was it just a shitpost? I do not approve of your horrible actions. How dare you? How dare you harass your neighbors? It's a horrible person. How is it Is it Epstein level horribles, or you just don't like them? Is that what it is? Do tell. Manipulator level horrible? If you talk to manipulators, most of the time they don't think they're horrible. They just think that is what you do. So you know. It's very awkward. The most awkward thing was when a manipulative person said to my face, they were like, no, like, you just gotta make them think like it's their idea. And I was like, oh, you're like that. Oh. And then I didn't speak to them again. But what they do? I wanna know. Person is also, well, being fat isn't a bad thing. A lot of people can't control that. So I wouldn't say it's a bad characteristic for someone to be larger. And they tank your mental health. See, that's something you could say. They hurt your feelings and they make you feel bad. But don't dog people out their weight, because you might get to that weight too eventually. One disability away, you know? Knee injury or something like that. So be careful. What else? Well, what did they do? Like, what was the final straw? Like, why'd you do it? I know, I'm like such a mom too when people tell me stuff. I had a very unpleasant discussion with my sociology teacher today. Was that whose house you egged, or their stuff that you egged? Because if you just nope, if you just did it to like their trash bags, it's really only a disservice or annoying to the trash workers who pick it up. Just so you know, like if you're gonna get back at someone, make sure it's gonna inconvenience them specifically, and not being an enabler. Just saying. Just saying. You just had a crap day then, Snoop, didn't you? It's a very scary house, kind of pissed myself going there. Then why did you go? Usually people who are like manipulative like that have like mental health issues, you know? They might be like intellectually disabled. They don't know how to get what they want like the normal way, so they have to like manipulate people to get it. I'm not trying to infantilize people who are like that, you know. They know what they're doing. Yeah. I don't know. Some people just, I think it's just mental health issues, IMO, when people are like that. They don't view people as people. It's kind of sad. Oh, this person spreads rumors about me. Bro, rumors don't stand, dude. If you, like, give me a hard time for a while, yeah, well, rumors don't fucking stand. Like, if someone does horrible stuff like that, the worst thing that you could do is feed into it by trying to get revenge, because they'll just use that against you. They're cowards. They like to throw stones and then, like, turn around and be like, oh, I don't know why they're so mad at me. Why are they so mad at me? Why won't they talk to me? You know? I didn't do dog shit, I know. Okay. Then you just gotta not react. Because your reputation will stand for itself. And if it doesn't with certain people, and then you deserve revenge, bro. Bro. Honestly, the best revenge is something that comes later. You don't even have to be like aggressive or vicious to someone in order to like have revenge. Just so you know. The best revenge is actually kindness. Like giving them space and being like, you're gonna do whatever you want with your life. And then you could have your moment where they like come and apologize to you, which believe me, I've had multiple times with people. And then you can just be like, okay, I don't really forgive you, but I hope you feel better about doing that or whatever. Because it's just, it doesn't matter. According to your sociology teacher, you don't have a social life? Bro, I'm gonna be real with you. If you're gonna be vengeful like that, it's gonna be hard to make friends. I don't think this person would apologize directly, then that's fine. Like, I understand that you're, like, mad or whatever, and obviously I don't know what's going on, but ruining your life just because someone fucked you over is, like, why would you do that? Then you're letting them have control over your life, and that's probably what they want anyways. He actually then proceeded to ask me if I had suicidal thoughts. Bro, I don't know. What I would report that to your dean. These are two unrelated things, by the way. Report that to your dean. Like, literally report that. He said he's worried about me. Just report it. Report it. Be like, hey, like, you can't report him. You can report him. Unless you're, like, misrepresenting the situation to me right now. That's, like, yeah. Or, because, like, honestly, like, if people have good intentions and they're trying to be like, hey, because you have a professor that's commenting on your personal life and singling you out, I can tell you more later in Discord. You can say it here if you want to. And you can talk about stuff on Discord too. Just be aware that we moderate it. Like so don't like dox anyone or do anything bad like that. Like say where people live. Yeah. I don't know. My best advice when you have is like 5 years. Okay. 5 years old. I guess so. But like the best thing to do, or at least in my opinion, depending on the circumstance, you know, sometimes no action is the best action. Normally, when you have really manipulative people, you just take steps back. Like you just be like, hey, I'm never speaking with you again. And then you can be courteous to them and be like, oh yeah, hi, hello, like be like that sort of thing. But you don't have to engage with them and have an interpersonal relationship, especially if you're forced in proximity with them. You can take your control, you know, and be like, leave me alone. Darius says, OMG Posey, a gang of feral carol singers are roaming the village. Hell yeah! Are you gonna sing with them? My grandparents made me go caroling. You need to set more boundaries. You should. I did caroling when I was a kid. I was in choir, that's why. The church's choir and stuff. I can just drink and fight, bro! Everyone's so fucking aggressive. Wait, Darius, I have something to show you. I want to show you how fast I'm gonna go, okay? Do you want to see how fast I am? It's the Christmas spirit? Hell yeah. Do you want to see how fucking fast I am, Darius? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Look, these are not super expensive ones in case I lose them. No! No! Are these creepy? I wanted them to look ugly and creepy. Yo! Just imagine me. Oh, I see this as part of your personality. Yes, it is. Well, I wanted to get like cute ones, you know? And then I was like, ew. I need to look like round face. Is this for fancy dress? What do you mean? Yeah, I'm gonna wear them for like competitions if it's nice out, but or races or whatever, like a party. No, it's for running because I have sensitive eyeballs. So I was like, oh man, like what are the ones that like runners have like that they swear by? Like it's genuinely for sport. Yeah, I want to make it so I'm like non-harassable, you know? I want men to look at me while I'm running in like my balaclava and this and wonder what gender I am. And be like, not worth harassing today. I winter run. I'll look cute for my races though, but for like casual running, I don't want to look like they would. Oh, I want to be so detestable that they wouldn't want to take me to a second location. Meow, 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 meow. I love it. You're welcome. And they match my shoes. Pink. I'll have like a whole cute little pink fit. Actually, no, I have to look ugly in the winter. Ugly means warm. Warm. Oh, today I walked about 5K without my knees hurting like super bad. And I got new shoes and they feel better. They're Asics. Just run about, Posey. You don't need these accessories. I actually do need sunglasses because I have light eyes. Not, what the fuck is her name? Turning Point wife. She's like creepy. She has like the creepy like eyes, you know? Sunglasses are fair enough. Nipple tape is essential. That's why you wear a compressing like sports bra, you know? Make it so the tits go like flat. And then they don't bounce around as much. Like you gotta like tape it in. But nipple tape is important for men. I wear compressors after my runs. They're like electric moon boots. Oh, on your feet? On your feet? Hell yeah. I hate talking, Steve says, I hate talking about politics with my classmates in sociology. And on another unrelated note. Yes, my whole legs. Oh, people get like those like leg boots things. I've seen them on TikTok. I don't know if I will ever get that. Maybe if I start doing marathoning like competitively. Do you want to know something? I was like, I want to train for more marathons. How soon would I have to sign up for a marathon? Like, how soon would I have to like get a qualifying race and then sign up before the race actually happens? 11 months! 11 months to a year! That's like how soon people like sign up for like the majors. Like Hawaii, NYC, Chicago, Paris, Italy. What the fuck? They're well expensive, but without a doubt the best thing I bought. I've heard that. You've done 8 unofficial marathons? Oh. Pussy shit. Doing Ironman. No, I'm kidding. I'm over here like barely able to run a half. I walk. COVID in it. That's true. That's true. Sorry, Snoop. I love talking about politics, by the way. You said the thing and then I got distracted. We're talking about running because we're going fast. That's like my winter hyperfixation. Running and gym. Oh, by the way, Darius, I've been doing like better physical therapy workouts on my knees. And it's weird because like my I think it's like your quads are in the front of your legs, right? And your hammies are in the back, right? Right? And your calves are at the bottom. Yeah, yeah, okay. So like I sprained my MCL. That's what happened to me when I slipped and fell. At least I didn't tear it. I'm not gonna. Anyways, so it's like I'm healing good. I'm on track. But now that I know what it is, I can do better like physio for it. So I sprained my MCL. The medical cruciate ligament. No, it's like in your knee. So you have like your MCL, your ACL, and then your something CL. So it's like the inner part of my knee. That's like that, yeah, an MCL. So I sprained that and I've been doing physio for it, but for some reason when I work out my hammies, it hurts, but my quads, it's fine. So anything that like as I'm doing like isolating exercises for each leg, it's weird because my hammy like it hurts. It hurts. I have to factor in your Americans so much into these conversations. What do you want me to talk like this? Yeah. I feel like that's not super helpful. I just don't know the British terms. It can't be like when I was younger and it was really embarrassing. Actually, I'm not gonna talk about it. Moving on. Basically, I was working out and I was like, why the fuck do my hammies hurt so bad? But then like my quads are fine. It's weird. No, I'm just not used to hearing your quads are at the front and your hammies are in the back. Yeah, your calves are in the back. Calves are in like the back of the leg. Your hamstrings. Yeah, your hamstrings like in like the back of your leg. So I think it's like where my MCL meets my hamstring where I had like the sprain. The hammies are in the back of your arse. And like, yeah, and it's ridiculous because like I was like at the gym putting weight on it, right? Because it was like you gotta do progressive like increase in weight when you're fixing your leg. Not like a lot, just a little bit. My right leg, because I fucked up my left leg. Because I lead with my left leg. Um but my right leg, I can do like quadruple the weight. My left leg, I can barely do any weight. Have you had a serious injury before? Not on my legs, on my elbow. I had like the Tommy John's thing, like a not like a sprain, but like a micro tear, and I'm very lucky it healed. I had to stop lifting, stop swimming, stop doing everything. Oh, and I tore my pec right here. No, 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 it's because I slipped. I slipped. That's why I sprained my MCL. It's because I slipped on ice. So I was running on the snow and ice outside. I was like, I thought there was no ice there, or at least I think it was like a little snowy covered, and then there was ice underneath it, and I slipped, and that's when I hyperextended it, and it just, um, same thing happened with my elbow. That was in like high school. I was like in a door. Yeah, it was basically I was not running where I should have. I should have been on more snow than like ice. Like I need to stay off the sidewalks and go on like the road or just keep trail running. Like I shouldn't be yeah. So I slipped. It wasn't me doing too much because I know what that feels like. I told you to be really careful at the start about getting injured. What day did you try and run on ice? What's today's date? 12? About 2 weeks ago. It was after my race. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna run a little bit. I'll be good. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. When did you go for your first run? 4 weeks ago. But I was good. Like, my race was fine. What happened is the conditions outside. Like, I know I used to coach, so I'm just like, I take this shit seriously. I understand that you shouldn't do too much too fast. You gotta go slow with it. And then I slip on ice, and I'm like, oh, but it's good that I did it. I'm looking at it as a blessing because it got me into the gym. Like, it literally got me going back to the gym, and it got me doing isolated strengthening exercises, and now I lift again. And now I'm going to lift more than the men at the gym. It's my goal. It's my goal. My upper body is going to be snatched. It's going to be so good. I love doing upper body too, like back. Yeah, girls' knees do need quite a lot of conditioning, to be honest. It's true. It's true. And I'm hypermobile too, which is why I'm very prone to injuries, like in my elbow and in my knees. So I really have to do a lot of strengthening. That's why I used to go to the gym and do like heavy lifting, with proper form, of course, just to like really strengthen it. And all of my injuries that I've had have been when I have not been lifting regularly and I try to do endurance exercises. Technically, my elbow happened for a different reason, but yeah. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. A lot of lads on the teams I played on won't let their daughters anywhere near a football pitch because of their knees. Yes. Yes. Knees, it's like the pivoting is really hard too, and you have to do a lot of knee strengthening. So like, I did like lift focus, upper body, lower body, like strength conditioning earlier in the week. And then yesterday and today was upper body yesterday, lower body today, just mobility strengthening. Because I haven't done mobility work in so long and it fucked me up. Is it something to do with your hips being wider or something? Yeah, it can be. There's also a lot of different layers to it. So like, it can happen like with birth control. That was a really, really big factor. So if you're on something like Depo-Provera, God, I learned so much, yo. But anyways, if you're on something like Depo-Provera, it can cause your bone density to be reduced. So it's really like there's some doctors who won't, like good doctors won't let anyone be on the Depo-Provera shot, which is basically like a progesterone shot, or give someone progesterone based birth control. Yeah, so you're in BC. What is that? Oh, voice chat. Cursed. I'm not doing that right now. But yeah. So you can't, it's not recommended to be on Depo-Provera unless you do strength training or have already been on strength training before, because it can cause you to have osteoporosis or bone density loss at a very young age. So if you're on it for more than like a year and a half to 2 years and you're a normal person, not lifting or anything, you're almost guaranteed to have bone loss and bone density issues. And then it's really hard to build that up once you lose it. So it's, there's lots to it. Yeah, they're saying that about Ozempic too. Ozempic, yeah, as well, because it's a metabolism-based thing. Darius says, I've never looked into it. I know a lot of female footballers claim it's down to studs and boots, but it's so ubiquitous, I feel like it's more of a biological thing. It is. It is. In some aspects, it is. Like, I think it could do with the hips, but it's more of a hormonal thing. And how, like, it's like, you know how most medications and I only know this because I coached, but you have to be very careful about the medications that you take when you're doing competitive sports, especially like fast sports or high impact sports like soccer, because there will be some collisions, and there's also like you have to have a lot of dexterity and like fast pivot like movements, and I doubt hormones would affect structural changes. No, it does. It literally does. It literally does so much more than people think. There's Like some people say it's like, yeah, check PubMed, but your hormone levels, not just your testosterone, but like all of your hormones, like your progesterone, your estrogen, all that sort of thing. If you are lacking in any of them, it can cause issues with your muscle mass and it can cause issues with your bone density and stuff like that. And those are just like the reproductive based hormones that are like the sex based hormones. There's plenty of other hormones that if you have too much of or too little of, it causes issues with like your like how your body performs. That's why high performance athletes, especially women, it's recommended to do like hormone testing and stuff like that at the doctor. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Let's see. Mm. This one's inconclusive, yeah. Let's see. Estrogens and androgens influence the growth and maintenance of mammalian skeleton, are responsible for its sexual dimorphism. Estrogen deficiency, yeah. Let me give you a link. Here's like a decentish one. I'll give you this one despite it not being totally convincing. Oh, that's like, I think that's almost the same one that I sent you. Or a similar one. Yeah, but I did a bit of research into this. In the last 20 years, basic and clinical research advances, genetic insights from humans and rodents, neurotech imaging technologies have changed considerably in the landscape of our understanding of bone biology, as well as the relationship between sex steroids and physiology and pathophysiology of bone metabolism. Together with the appreciation of side effects of estrogen-related therapies on breast cancer and cardiovascular diseases, these advances have also drastically altered the treatment of osteoporosis. In this article, we provide a comprehensive review of the molecular and cellular mechanisms of action of estrogens and androgens on bone, their influences on skeletal homeostasis during growth and adulthood, and the pathogenetic mechanisms of adverse effects of their deficiency on female and male skeletons, as well as the role of natural synthetic estrogen or androgenic, pardon me, I'm dyslexic, compounds in the pharmacotherapery of osteoporosis. Could have said that wrong too. No, the pharmacotherapy. We highlight latest advances on the crosstalk between hormonal and mechanical signals, the relevance of antioxidant properties of estrogens and androgens, and the difference of their cellular targets in different bone developments, the role of estrogen deficiency in male osteoporosis, and the contribution of estrogen and androgen deficiency in the monomorphic effects of aging on an involution. This isn't about the effects of hormones on sports injuries. It's more a general one about hormones and health, basically. Yeah. But, what another very, like, important one for people to keep in mind, bone density is really, really important. But you also need to keep in mind stuff like cortisol is a very, very, very big factor. So if you are in like a high stress environment or your body is constantly under pressure and you have like constant cortisol, people know that it gives people's issues with sleep. It can cause issues with like muscle formation. You have increased fat deposits, that sort of thing. And also, it's why people don't recommend that you drink super often, because alongside it causing issues like cirrhosis of your liver or whatever, which is a whole nother factor, it gives you higher levels of cortisol, which gives you like more of a desire to keep drinking, and that's how people can become alcoholics very easily. You get high cortisol levels if you drink very, very regularly. I'm not very convinced by the study you sent. That's okay. It's just one vague one that's like, There was not a significant reduction in bone formation rate of the condition of KO mice, but osteoblast number was reduced. Thus, the two studies agree that ERA in osteocytes is important for cancellous bone mass, which they disagree about sex in animals in which this occurs. Yeah, there's lots of different layers to it, and that also has to deal with like the fact that they need to start doing it on like actual people. Actual people. I know. This is just an example that people are doing more and more studies. And the biggest issue is in this one, it's not just estrogen focused, it's also androgens as well. So it's not the best study because they're not isolating the hormones and how it affects the actual creatures and stuff like that. It's just an example. So I'm just going to dive into the stuff that like we know. But there's plenty of like different examples that you can use about how hormones affect people. Women are technically more affected by hormones like cortisol. Like it has a different effect on women than it does on men, at least in the long-term effects. And when you have a society that's more catering to men than it is women, women are more likely to have increased cortisol levels and that sort of thing, which can impact stuff like not just reproduction or weight distribution, muscle mass, even bone density and stuff like that too. Because this was about the role of hormones and any possible correlations with sports injuries. Now I'm talking about bone density. That's about bone density. Your bone density is a major factor in like injuries, especially, well, technically my MCL is like a tendon, so it's like but a lot of women have increased injuries with their bones themselves and increased risk of osteoporosis or like bone density issues than men do. No one in their right mind is going to argue that the endocrine system doesn't have significant effects on health. That's fair. You've gone off on an adventure instead of being specific. Oh my god, you just like to critique people. You have this thing where you have to be right all the time. You don't allow people to like build up in a discussion. I've learned this about you, Darius. Especially if it's, you're a contrarian. I've learned it about you. You just like to argue with people about things. No, I've got a thing where I like to know what's right. But if you think it's right, you won't let anyone break down any other ideas. I've learned this about you. I watched it happen yesterday. But it's true. There's many different ways you could go about it. And another thing that people don't necessarily like dive into when it comes to these studies is that they're hard to really do and isolate between men and women and that sort of thing. If you're referring to last night, I can't wait to tell Tahami you said it's time to learn about Sharia and the only person we would listen to is a Swedish atheist. You don't even know who he is. You don't even know his background, and he's not an atheist. You don't know anything about the dude. And I want it to be palatable for other audiences because a lot of people here are very Western focused, and having someone who can, oh my god, Darius, you just like to argue. You don't even know anything about it. And this is a video that I showed Darius, and he was like, oh, I think that he's a good source of information because we watched his content here before. Bro, you just like to be upset. I've watched his other content here before. I'm not trying to argue with you the whole time, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You say a lot. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at about like bone issues and stuff like that and injuries with women, especially when it comes to like mobility and stuff like that. Women can get to the point where they obviously have like insane mobility, less injury and stuff like that. It's just, I feel that women are not trained to be as competitive as men when it comes to athletics, and they can also be neglected a lot in athletics as well. I say a lot, but it's very specific. I think you could post clips here, Snoopy. I post Twitter links. Yeah, you can post clips. I don't know if he's still here. But it's important to know that, like, especially in a lot of athletics, women are neglected. And that's why they can be pushed really hard and have a higher risk of injury. Like a lot of women and just like girls that I've seen, like younger girlies too, like minors that I've seen play athletics that get injured, it's because they're being pushed past their limit and their coaches or whoever is pushing them is not willing to acknowledge that they're injured. But they'll have the same like cases of like, oh, um, when I was swim coaching and that sort of thing, there was this little girl who was, I think she was like 13 or whatever, and she was talking about how her knee was hurting and how she was really struggling and how she didn't feel comfortable going on. And it wasn't like the same injury that I have. It was more of her ACL, and it was starting to get swollen. And I had to sit her out because I was like, hey, you should stop. But the other coach, he was just like, no, she could keep going. Like, I think she's fine. She's probably just being like exaggerating it. Like, she's okay. But then a 14-year-old boy, like a couple weeks later, was like, oh my God, my knee hurts in a very similar spot. And it was showing very similar signs of swelling and irritation. And he was like, and I can't, like, I can't believe he fucking did this. He was like, oh yeah, you need to sit out, you need to rest, like, you need to rice it, like, rest ice, like, elevate it, compress it, do the whole fucking thing. And I was just sitting there and I was like, so she over here wasn't allowed to take the break that she needed because her pain wasn't valid enough for you, but his is? Like, are you serious? Let's see. Dari says, women, especially girls sport, I think is very good over here around those things. It's going to be wildly different in the States because your collegial systems and scholarships. It wasn't even collegial. I was literally, like, coaching a youth sports team. And it was just, like, a summer thing. Yeah. And this is just amateur stuff. Yeah. And when you have, like, and that stuff sticks with you. Like, if you are being constantly, like, rejected every time you have an injury, and keep in mind, I was also around a lot of D1 athletes, both women and male athletes who were competing at like the college level and even the professional level. And it was notorious for women saying that they were having injuries or whatever, or they weren't feeling good, and they kept being pushed. Whereas the male counterparts who were, playing in the other parts, like let's say it was like track and field or something, they would just be like babied so much more. And it was insane. It pissed me off. Oh, I have no idea about that world. I know parents are out of control worldwide. It wasn't parents. It was like actual coaches who were just like, no, put him out there. It's fine. No, put him out there. It doesn't matter. They'll be fine. They can do it. And then the athletes, like, they just want to keep going and they trust their coaches and they keep going and they get injured. And I see it over and over and over again. Because the coaches, they want the performance. They want people to come to the events and they want to see the athlete doing their best. And they're obviously not in the athlete's body. And those chemistry teachers watch Whiplash and turned into fucking idiots. No, I'm talking like at the college level, like D1 level. That's like the highest you can do in like a university level, right? And they were like just pushed to do things they couldn't do and they would just get injured all the time. All the time. Not even parents being involved. They just have this blind trust in the coaches, the coaching team and the physio team. And sometimes the physio, like the physical therapist would be like, hey, you shouldn't keep going. Like, you need to stop. And the coaches will be like, no, one more round. They can keep going. Like, very rarely do I see a coach that actually holds a teammate, like, back from performing because the teammate's injured, It's insane. And they try to argue about stuff all the time. I'm like, look, you don't have the first fucking clue about what you're talking about. Yeah. You talk like Dr. Mike. Who? Darius or me? If it's me, I grew up with a lot of doctors and stuff. Dr. Mike is a lot like one of my relatives, like personality-wise. At least what they show on screen. But it's true. A lot of, like, I've seen it a lot, and it's a big reason why Like, I don't really want to, like, work in the athletic realm. Daria says, I don't know who Dr. Mike is. We can watch a video. It'd be kind of funny. I think he did a Jubilee video. I think you'd like it, actually. Jubilee. Nope. He did, yes, nope. I just saw a clip of it. I think it was like 5 days ago. It can be quite long, but yeah. I like the Jubilee videos. They're so incredibly stupid. It's very fun. Do you want to watch it? I love talking about athletics. It's like a thing that I just love it. I love athletics so much. It's like you can, how do I put it? It's like you can just like fine tune everything you do. And it's like your body is like this like ticking thing. And if you have something wrong with it, you can just like work with it, you know? Dari says, if it's about sports psychology, because if it is, I 100% do not know he's not into sports psychology. He's more of a, he's in GM, like general medicine. He's not really like, he's more of like your family doctor vibes. He's not super, yeah, actually we shouldn't watch them because it's just stupid media that encourages ignorance. It can. I don't mind Jubilee though. It can be really stupid. But for the most part, I watch it a little bit. He's a proper GP. This isn't like Dr. Phil or something. No, it's not like Dr. Phil. He actually has a background, went to school for it. There are certain things where I personally think that he could be more educated on, but most of that has to do with like he's very anti like is it like the, can I guess the topics before you play it? Sure. Go for it. How do I say this? He's not very into things that are not Western medicine. So, like, he's very, very into, like, oh, if you have an issue, go to your doctor is going to figure it out. But if you have, like, a home remedy of something, he thinks it's all bullshit. He's like, it's not worth studying. If there's no studies into it, I'm not going to read. He's a lot like you, Darius. Just saying. He's quite a bit like you. Very particular, very much not wanting to, like, very questioning everything, which can be a good trait, but it's also can be counterproductive because, you know, you gotta, how do I say this? You gotta, if it helps someone, even if it doesn't make sense and it's not harming them, you might as well just let him do it. But Dr. Mike is just like, no, it's just stupid. They need to know that it's not worth it. Dari says, COVID, prescribing antidepressants, therapy is good, universal healthcare. Vibes. Dari says, he's a scientist too, that I suspect he puts a lot of personal responsibility and truth. Yes and no. I would say yes and no. I've seen a couple interviews from him. I also really wanted to go into medicine for a while. Like, my family really pressured me into it, so I've done a lot of, like I've worked, at, like, a pharmacy kind of thing a little bit, making medications and stuff. I've been in lots of labs and everything. Like, I have a lot of, not a ton of experience. I'm not like a nurse, but, you know, I have a little bit more than the average person when it comes to some medical stuff, and I think he's pretty, like, good at it. Not the best, obviously. No one's ever the best at anything, but yeah. Like, GPs tend to be pragmatists in my experience, and I like pragmatism. Yeah. He can be like that. Yeah. So he's a lot like you, and the fact that he likes to question a lot of things, and he's like nothing's ever good enough. And he's like, they need to do better with this. Like, he'll read something that's positive and he'll be like, okay, that's nice, but they need to do all this improvement here. Snoop says, yeah, I read it. I just kind of glossed over it. Did you know that the American media is one of the main reasons for violence culture in the United States? I do think it is. Yeah. The major media outlets do enjoy escalating situations. I think Jubilee, personally, I think Jubilee is like one of the, they're really just in it for media. They want people to watch. So you're going to get like the extremists. So it's one Dr. V, 20 RFK Jr. supporters, which is hilarious because I think there's some paperwork that's being motioned to impeach RFK Jr. as well as Kristi Noem and stuff like that. I think that'll be coming in the next couple of months. But this shit is wild to see how people support him. Dari says, what's that called? It's not scholastic terrorism, but it must be a similar stochastic terrorism. I was like, scholastic, what do you mean there? That's wild. I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. Scholastic terrorism is what you inflict upon us with your Swedish YouTubers. Bro! Did you know that I didn't know he was Swedish? Like, this might be really weird. I also didn't listen to PewDiePie, by the way. But Andrew can attest to this. Like, I cannot tell when people have a Swedish accent. I'm really bad with accents, but in particular, the Swedish accent. Like, I don't understand it. Like, people, you could speak with, you could have someone who's Swedish speak to me. And I had some Swedish friends in high school, and I didn't know they were Swedish. I was like, oh, where are you from? And they're like, can you not tell? I don't even know how to do it. They're just like, can you not tell? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what state are you from? You just moved here, right? Actual Swedes? No, I'm talking actual Swedes, like foreign exchange student program. We had a lot of Swedes come to my school. I had no idea that they were Swedish. I thought they were from a different state. I was like, oh, they must be from up north or something. I don't know. They talk about it being cold back home. I'm not even joking with you. Like, it's actually really bad. Like, Andrew will be watching someone who's Swedish, and I will think they're American. Because I don't understand Swedish accents. It's actually really funny. Like, I didn't know PewDiePie wasn't American until someone told me. And it's only, I think it's actually some other accents too. Beyond parody. No, I'm like accent blind. I don't hear it. Which is so hard for me to learn other languages because I don't hear the accents. Like, I don't understand it. It's embarrassing, actually. Like, it's quite embarrassing. Anyways, here's the video.
Reasonable level. Pharmaceutical companies have no transparency. And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me. Founded claim is that RFK Jr. is decimating public health and should step down as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
We're gonna watch this now. Don't critique me anymore. Be nice to me.
Hello there.
Hello, hello.
Dr. Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Too.
How do you feel about my claim?
I think your claim is absurd because we've got someone that is actually challenging, which is science. I mean, science is about scrutiny, not Orwellian obedience. And if we want to find the truth, we should always have both sides of the story and, you know, check out both sides and then find what the truth is.
That's interesting because in some ways I agree with your statement.
I know,
we should
Darius.
absolutely be skeptical, and science is about proving our initial thoughts wrong. When we do research, for example, we try and look at not just our hypothesis of what we think is going to happen. We actually try to prove the null hypothesis. We actually try to design research that disagrees with us. So I'm curious why you think Secretary Kennedy right now is the correct pick versus what you claim to be the other side.
Let's put it this way. We had to live through the medical tyranny of COVID, and his organization, Children's Health Defense, was on the front line of pushing back against that tyranny. I was part of that. I did protests, and I started a rally in Beverly Hills that was very popular. By the end of the year, we had 4,000 to 6,000 people marching through the streets saying enough is enough. You know, they first, like Fauci told us, oh, you know, the masks don't work. And then, oh, you need to wear a mask. And then it was 2 masks. So again, the goalpost just kept moving and moving. And we knew it was just baloney. I mean, anybody can smell a rat. And, you know, we just see a lot of the same pattern, like during HIV, for instance. Remember that Bactrim, the NIH and the government were demonizing this with doctors. And then we find out that it actually does help HIV. But they didn't want to cure because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for Big Pharma. Same thing happened during COVID. And we had 2 doctors here in California that had a 99% success rate. Okay, it was Brian Tyson and George Fareed. And they had 7,000 patients that they helped. 99%, which is better than the COVID-19 shot, because once we saw people taking those shots, we saw people dropping like flies.
Not into
I feel like we took a
vaccines,
lot
though.
of topics there and we tried to put them together, so it's going to be difficult for me to reply to you. Let's start with the idea of moving the goalposts.
Okay.
So, you know, in science, we're always learning, right? As a doctor, the things that I recommend today will likely change in 10 years and 20 years, because as knowledge evolves, we're going to make new recommendations. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but this is months, okay? And we know that a virus is 0.3 micron. We see the holes in the mask. You really think that that's going to hold a virus? I mean, we see what virologists wear. It's like a spacesuit.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I love that you point out the particle size. And you know, there's actually a unique principle with particle movements that the reason why N95 masks actually work quite well for the COVID virus, because even when something is smaller than the size of the mask, the pores within the mask, the way that those particles move actually makes them more readily captured by that mask. Isn't that interesting how sometimes what we perceive to be the logical answer sometimes can be disproven in science? And this goes to show in the same way that we made mistakes in the past.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up
This use of
is
fishing
because they
net
were putting
analogy.
masks on people. So there's now bacteria is gigantic compared to a
You are
virus. We
so
know that,
critical,
right?
Doris.
They're
It's
large.
so
And my
funny
friend,
to
by the
me.
way, was a biology research professor at UCLA. So I've learned a lot from him. And, you know, he went to a very
Look
established
at his
school,
face.
Cambridge
He's
University.
just like, okay.
And that's what he dealt with. That's why he said, this is nonsense. So I'm going to listen to the experts, which is Dr. Elliot Hamoff, and look at, you know, people were getting sick and worse when they were wearing masks because they were forcing themselves to breathe the very bacteria that was dangerous.
So when I'm in the hospital and I'm treating patients who have COVID-19, for an example, I wear an N95 mask. You think I'm wearing that mask to potentially make myself more sick instead of protecting myself from
People
the
don't
patient
like
who
being
has
patronized.
I
COVID-19?
believe that you believe that it works, you know? I believe
But-
that you believe that because the medical industry, I
Wait
believe,
for it
has
to
been
finish.
corrupt for a long time.
What makes it corrupt?
Well, there's an interest,
It is
you
for
know?
content.
People have special interest. You know, it's a revolving door. When you look at
There's a lot of people that will take any form of criticism as a direct insult because they're very insecure in what they're doing. They're like, it's just how it is, you know? Like, they're like, yeah, it's like this. And if you say no, they'll just be like, my identity is so wrapped up in this idea that I can't differentiate your criticism for my idea from a criticism of me directly. So it's like, you can try your best to not be patronizing, but some people, they just can't take criticism, like, at all.
a lot of these NIH or NIAID, you know, these people have been
Yeah.
funded by Big Pharma, and then they go
Normally
in the
he's
medical
really good with
industry. So to me,
analogies.
that shows
Not gonna lie.
corruption.
So if someone is funded by Big Pharma, does that automatically make them corrupt?
Not necessarily, because there are honest people, but the fact that they censored, even Mark Zuckerberg was asked in the Senate floor if he was being, you know, coerced by the government to shut down free speech when it came to COVID. We had a friend who, her best friend died of
I guess it's
COVID
fair.
shots, 2 of them, and she had these huge boils all over her legs. And they sent her home. They did not report with VAERS that was that. They actually didn't want to even talk about it, which shows me corruption. Then I had a friend, Dr. Simone Gold, that was treating patients with early treatment, and the Master of Business Association comes to her, which doesn't have a medical license, and threatened to fire her, which she did. She got fired. That is called medical tyranny.
Okay, pause.
Wait, who should shut down free speech over COVID
Okay.
because
Thank
too
you.
many frauds
Thank
are
you.
Appreciate you,
Okay.
yes. Hello, sir. How are you?
Brian.
Pleasure, Brian. Nice to meet you.
So I have a few questions to start with, just because I want to make sure that we're actually debating the topic that you would like to debate. To say that he's decimating public health, are there specific
there
measures
should be
that
more
you would like to
regulation,
cover,
though,
to talk about, that you believe constitutes
on
the
what
decimation?
professionals
so,
say. Like, you could
where do
lose
we
your
start?
license if you say stuff that's
In order to
horrible,
do
you
good
know?
public
Or
health, in
very
order for me
inaccurate.
to know what treatments are right for my
At least
patients, we
that's
need
how
to
it
do
should be.
research. And currently, the NIH, the CDC budgets for research have been absolutely decimated by billions of dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing, because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health.
I
Important
can see why you
subjects.
feel that way.
The
that
entire
that
NIH,
is, you know?
CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created
But
an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency for the Office of Research, we fired over 1,000 scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety.
which
We've
is a really
canceled
big
NIH
idea.
diabetes prevention program that ran for 30 years.
Hmm.
And we've eliminated the Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee.
Okay. The lead thing's really important because that committee was giving grants to a lot of states and cities within those states to correct their water systems. So, like here in the city that I live in, they took a lot of that government funding from the lead protection agency, or like the prevention agency, whatever branch it was. And what they're doing is they're replacing a lot of pipes within my city that were still made out of lead, that were in the older parts of the city as well as the more impoverished parts of the city. And it was something that took a long time to get corrected. And they're still going through with it because they still have the money, thankfully, because it came through with the Biden administration. But now a lot of other cities who are trying to follow suit are really going to struggle. Have they been replaced with anything? No, Darius. RFK Jr. literally just like gutted everything. Darius says the common political trick is to basically rename something and then claim it's been taken away. No, they actually removed a ton of jobs. Like, jobs have been lost in the U.S. I think it's like over 30,000 jobs have been lost. Oh, it's 300,000 jobs lost or expected to be lost by the year's end. The federal workforce, just as a whole. It's insane. Here is a link. Not jobs, the programs, the AI-abolics is going to remove jobs regardless. No, like, as he said, they actually removed these positions as a whole. Like, it's insane.
So that should
I'll
be
rewind a little
billions of
bit.
dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing,
Here.
because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health. Important subjects. The entire NIH CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency for the Office of Research, we fired over
It's rough,
1,000
Darius.
scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety. We've canceled NIH.
Oh, and the CDC at the beginning of Trump's administration this year literally was cut so far, to the extent where their website was shut down like temporarily, and they no longer claim to be accurate when it comes to recalls. So there's no like wide range of announcements that they do for recalls of medication, foods, or anything. And they cut down the food information that they believe to be part of a recall. So how has CDC food recall changed this year? Let's see. Yeah. Here we go. This is a good one. Yep. Yeah. This dives into some of it, but it's not good. So usually they monitor 8 specific pathogens, and now they're doing 2. Unfortunately, firing people is the norm now because of AI. This isn't AI. Like, they're literally shutting down programs and they're making it so they're not monitoring stuff anymore. Like, I don't know how else that I need to say it. Like, I know you like being argumentative, but this is literally what's happening. So instead of doing like the normal 8 pathogens, let's see. They've reduced their surveillance of foods to salmonella and Shigan non-producing E. coli, instead of including Campylobacter, Cyclospora, Listeria, Shigella, Vibrio, and Yersinia. And we've already, yeah, this is insanely cutting back. So it's not just AI. Like, if it was AI, I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, they'd be like upset, but as long as their health was still being taken into consideration, they'd be okay with it. But Listeria outbreaks have become more and more common ever since they've had the rollbacks, which is really concerning because that can have really long lasting effects. But yeah, it's not great, but it keeps going. It keeps going.
Diabetes prevention program that ran
horrible.
for 30 years. And we've eliminated the Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee. So that's just a few of them.
Okay. So considering all of that, before when we had
What
all
are
of that
you
money,
talking about,
where did
Darius?
that get us? Look at the state of of Americans' health, and you tell me that the public is actually healthy. What
He's talking
RFK is
about
doing
funding cuts.
is he is saying enough is enough, something has to change. And I will say this very politely, but I think that you have to be insane to say more.
Literally none of it's been replaced, Darius. I gave you links to the information. None of it's been replaced. There is no replacement for it. Cities in my state who are trying to get rid of lead pipes can no longer get the government funding, the federal funding necessary to do it. So then lead toxicity is going to continue being increased in those areas, which can cause permanent brain damage to people. My goodness, I feel a lot better. But yeah, no. The reason why it's being cut, like as RFK Jr. said about this stuff, is he said it was because it was not necessary to protect people's health. And there's a reason why the House is creating articles of impeachment for RFK. It's because of this shit. EPA redirects 40.18. What's your source? What's your source? Like when and where? If you're gonna be critical, Darius, I'm gonna be critical back. You can't just give me random shit. Who said it? When was it said? And has it been amended? All right. Pulse. That's not a government site. Give me at least 3 sources. And one of RFK like explaining it, or one of their direct representatives explaining it. You want to be down in the nitty gritty? I'm gonna be down in the nitty gritty too. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Is somehow going to get us out of the current public health crisis that we have right now. Americans are fat and they are sick, and it is not getting better. And taking more and more money and continuing to flush it down the toilet is not going to solve the problem. We know what will stop cancer dead in its tracks. We know what will stop all chronic disease dead in its tracks. Do you know what it is?
Lifestyle changes?
Lifestyle changes. The American Heart Association has known about this for years. The most important predictor of longevity, risk of chronic disease, all-cause mortality is VO2 max. So why aren't doctors, why isn't the government creating a public health system that says, you know what, we're gonna focus on VO2 max? Because even if we stopped every dollar we had, putting it into cancer research right now, and we took that money and we said, let's get people moving, let's increase their VO2 max, cancer is stopped dead in its tracks. So the question is, when is enough to admit that the system you are a part of has drastically failed Americans? And RFK Jr., by the very fact of how he looks in his 70s, does more to encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle and truly make America healthy again.
Very passionate. And I mean that with all sincerity, because...
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. Like,
Okay, and back to it. In this article that you sent, it stated that states that have neither obligated or spent any awarded funds since at least fiscal year 2023 will be required to submit a planned EPA detailing their strategy for expeditiously using funds to address the lead before being eligible for new funding. EPA is committed to ensuring that the federal funding is used effectively and efficiently to address lead challenges facing local communities. The agency will proactively work with states to ensure they're expeditiously spending this funding by making awards to water systems for lead service line replacement projects. The funds can be used for lead service line replacement LR and associated activities like identification, planning, design, replacement. With this funding, EPA is issuing additional eligibility for state implementation in the IGA. For more about the program, here. Let's see. So if they haven't been, yeah, they still have to do a plan, which is good. But if, let's see, states that have neither obligated or spent any awarded funds since at least fiscal year 2023 will be required to submit a plan to the EPA detailing their strategy, which is important. This is what I mean. EPA is also announcing redistribution of additional $1.1 billion previous announced DWRS funding to address the lead. These funds were made available to states but have not been used. Stuff like this is misrepresented by both sides as cut programs, etc., so it's always good to check. It's the thing with the redistribution and how they're doing it, because I do know that cities in my state are not able to get it anymore because of the new redistribution measures. So it can take years to get, this is the bureaucracy. It can take years to qualify for a grant. Yes, for this specifically. There's smaller towns. I think, I could be wrong, but I believe Kearney is one of them. I live in Nebraska. So I think Kearney and I think Seward might have already gotten theirs. But there's other ones too, like York or whatever. McCook and that sort of thing, which we're trying to like replace a lot of their lead and stuff. But it can take, where would the blockage be? It can take years to get approved. So normally it can take about 3 years to get approved by the federal government. So what will happen is they'll like submit paperwork or whatever to the state. The state has to submit it to the city. The city has to submit it to the state. The state has to submit it to the federal government. The federal government will advise them on revisions, and then it goes back and forth for a long amount of time. And it can take years. So it has to go within every single, very rarely does it go fast. Normally this sort of thing takes like 4 or 5 years. So people have to redo their stuff to like get the new qualifications and everything. It also depends on the state, how states handle it. My state, it's a little bit different than like, let's say California or something like that. Because they can have state regulations that can be more fine-tuned than the federal regulations. So the federal regulations may not cover all of the different aspects of the remodeling or the rebuilding process, which could make it take a long time. They'll be like, oh, we'll cover this, this, and this, but we won't cover this aspect. So an example would be like, oh, if you want your plumbing to be like with this type of tubing or whatever, we only cover this type of tubing. But let's say California or maybe like Tennessee or something like that has a specific type of tubing that they like to use that won't be covered. So then they have to pay that out of pocket. And when the government redistributes funds and stuff like this, they do oftentimes change how they regulate that distribution. So maybe now they used to cover a certain type of tubing and now they don't cover the other ones. That's why I'm like, when people say that they're blocking stuff and that not a lot of people can use this sort of thing, it's usually details like that as to why. And whatever the federal government cannot cover, then the state has to cover, or the local municipality. And then that's why it can take years and years of planning.
I don't think you are.
There's lots of layers to
I
it.
know you might feel like it's coming off aggressive, but I actually think it's passion. And it's passion that I share. I think lifestyle changes are incredibly important. So in order to make these meaningful changes, in order to get people to eat healthier, to exercise more, that takes research dollars in order to figure out what programs work. Like in New York, in my home state.
Do you really think it takes research dollars?
Yeah, because
it's really simple. It's sunlight, it's being active, it's having a healthy home environment, it's eating food that comes from regenerative agriculture. It's not rocket science. It is really, really simple, but I think that the pharmaceutical industry tries to complicate it to make people question it so that they run to their doctor. And I'll be very frank with you. I think that you have great intentions. I really do. And I'm really glad that it's you sitting here, because I think part of the reason why these discussions get so heated is because both parties start thinking that the other party has bad intentions.
Sure.
I just think that you are a bit confused about where we should be putting our emphasis and putting our money.
So the difficulty, I know it sounds easy to say, let's get people moving, let's get people eating healthy. So I work at a community health center. It's near impossible to change behaviors as simply as you put it. I've launched a program during my residency program where I, as a physician, exercised with my patients. I brought them in to try and see if spending time with your doctor, exercising, getting them to do it safely was a way to get them motivated. And we saw some successes, but in order to have done that, we need to...
It's also important to note that they said everything that goes back to 2023 in the article. In knowing that it can take up to like 3 or 4 years to get approved, and it's 2025 right now. So anything that hasn't, like anybody who hasn't taken federal funding since 2023 was the condition, that's like, it's ridiculous because it can take years to get approved for that. Like years and years and years. So that means if they have to refile and resubmit a new request to accommodate to the new regulations that they have, it's going to lengthen the process out even further and probably make it harder for them to do it. That's why people say the program has essentially been cut, because even though it's plausible that they could use it, it's still really, really difficult to just redo everything, because sometimes the state laws have to be shifted to accommodate to it. Does that happen often? No. It's usually like city laws and that sort of thing, but it's very layered.
To scale that, we need to trial that to see ultimately how behaviors change. For example, you've seen research where people say if you give people a step counter and they walk 10,000 steps a day, they're healthier. Well, yeah, if you walk more, you move more, you're healthier. But when we actually looked at long-term research of getting people step counters, it didn't change behavior.
So you literally just contradicted yourself. And unless you're saying we need to take that money that RFK Jr. is cutting from the budget and we need to spend it on the approaches that we know work, then all you're doing is just supporting the system as is.
Did he take half the budget and make it for exercise?
Well, personally, I don't think that that's the government's role. And the reason why I don't think it's the government's role is I'm going to tell you a story. And ultimately, this is what it comes down to, okay? I was in a halfway house in Newark, New Jersey, okay? I could leave the halfway house because I was technically still an inmate, and I could go to my job, all right? If I veered from that path, I could literally go back to prison, okay? But eating healthy was so important to me that I broke the rules, went to Whole Foods, and bought healthy food on an $8 an hour job that the halfway house took 20%, and I still did not make excuses, and I found a way to eat healthy, okay? Doctors, the federal government, it's never going to instill that in people. And I think that it's wrong to really place that responsibility on you. You do not have the tools in your toolbox to effectively change behavior. And whether it's ego, I mean, like, I think you're a good person.
What tools are we missing?
I think it's more societal and it's more cultural.
You just said the government shouldn't be a part of it. So when you say societal, how so?
The president would have more power right now with the bully pulpit than any form of legislation. And that's what I'm trying to say is that what RFK represents for so many people that support him, he represents a cultural shift that will have more power than any form of legislation. It's just like my political views. I do not believe in democracy. I believe in a consumerocracy. The laws, the politicians, the legislation, they will fail us regardless of which party it is, okay? But right now, we could change the world if we all went out there and we made different consumer decisions. You don't have to have one president change. You don't have to have one law change. This goes viral right here. People start talking about a consumerocracy. The world changes.
You believe in Biden's?
Laws,
I know
politicians, legislations will never have that power.
I mean, I guess you haven't been to America. Or maybe you have been to America, but here in America, consumerism is so, it's on a whole nother level. I know he thinks he's eating with that line, I know. But like consumerism is at a whole nother level here. Like it's really hard to have long-term goals to plan on eating healthy and stuff like that because you can't always trust the information that you're seeing. Fuck your laws, praise the iPhone 19. No, but like, it's true. Like, I understand why these people have a level of mistrust for the government and everything because they don't have the ability to filter out the information that they're consuming. Like, there are so many ads. Like, if you go on TikTok here in the States or if you go on any social media platform, you'll get ads for things, and there are no laws stating that you can't lie about stuff within ads. You can't say that, oh, this is going to change your life in some drastic way or whatever. Like, you can just say, this changed my life, and you can say it's a person's personal experience, and they frame it as scientific, and then people just believe it. Like, that level of education is not very... It's not very common. So because people think that everything is an ad to them, even if they have someone who's actually qualified, who's actually trying to give the best information possible, they think it's just financially driven and they think it's just another ad. So then they start diluting the idea of like what actual information is true and then go off of what feels true. And then they go do. Darius says, I think in Japan you have a rule where you have to show like the actual size of food on any packaging, which I like. Yeah, I wish America would do that. I wish it was illegal for there to be like misleading ads like that. I wish that it was illegal for pharmaceutical companies or medicinal companies to sell their products. I wish that, I mean, it should be like this, honestly, but it's so hard because it's hard for someone to get involved in wanting to heal themselves because they constantly feel like they're being sold to. They feel that if they start going to the gym or whatever, they have to get like all of this workout clothing, all of this like special shoes, special gear, all this shit. And you don't need that. But then they feel like they need it, you know? Same with like, oh my God. A lot of people will fall into like diet marketing where they will literally consume like meal replacement bars or whatever and view it to be a full fucking meal when they can get a more nutrient dense meal that is cheaper than like the fucking Cliff Bar that they're eating or the fucking Quest bar that they're fucking eating too. Yeah, you can use it sometimes, but there's people who like they refuse to eat something other than that. And I understand it's easier to track your macros and stuff, but the average person who's working out or whatever, you should be eating more whole foods, but people aren't taught how to do that. It's like, oh, you're not working out enough, or you're not getting the right thing if you're not having that. Instead of having like coffee, you need to have like an Alani, or you need to have like a Ghost energy drink or whatever that you make yourself. Like, people fall into the consumer culture when it comes to athletic stuff. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And then it's just, you're being advertised to in every aspect of your life here. Let's see. Snoop says individuals take active choices, whether they're informed or not should be up to them. That's true. But the government should mitigate the amount of propaganda that's being released by workout companies, you know? Like, it's like, you don't have to have like an energy drink as a form of caffeine. You can have tea, you can have coffee, you can have other stuff for yourself that can help you. You don't even need it to work out for the most part, because it just suppresses your ability to sleep. Like, it's just whatever. I'm just gonna dive into so much shit. Daria says it's mainly when I'm on the field or on site. I don't want to eat baked potatoes and sandwiches or eggs or something. Yeah, but you're also an athlete. You're also doing like competitive sports. I'm talking about people just going to the gym. Like, just going to the gym. Caffeine is absolutely amazing for increasing athletic performance and increasing heart palpitations and risk of stroke and all that sort of thing too. Like, all I'm saying is you can go about it in a cheaper fashion. You don't have to buy into the, oh, you have to have this energy drink, you have to have this meal replacement, you have to have this exercise set, like you need to have these headphones, these shoes, all that crazy shit in order to be a good, well-rounded, healthy person. You don't have to be an athlete and buy whatever an athlete sells you in order to be good enough to go to the gym. Daria says, you wouldn't believe how much research goes into it now. 2 years on, 1 year off is very common for caffeine doping. Is one of the reasons why Liverpool are shit every third season. Where they just straight up don't have any caffeine anymore. Because I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I went a full year without caffeine, and then I started having caffeine again. Yeah. I started having caffeine again last year. And then, like, regularly. Actually, no, this year I started drinking caffeine in the morning regularly because of work and stuff. But even then, I only have like 150 milligrams at most of caffeine a day. 200 now is my max a day, but I don't do any more than that. Whereas when I was a barista, I was consuming like 500, 600 easy. Daria says they go full hard through when they're on diet though. Even during matches, they're given caffeine laced stuff. Yeah. Oh my god, don't even get me started. Like, in running and shit, they have these like performance gels that people have, and they have like maybe like different gels will be like 50 grams of carbs or that sort of thing, and then you'll have like salt chews that you have to replenish your electrolytes without having to drink a lot of fluids. Oh my god. But people consume that a lot, and they'll have caffeine in them too, like in the gels, and it'll be like 50 milligrams of caffeine in the gel, and that would just frustrate me. Oh, annoyingly, I'm extremely sensitive to caffeine, so I can't take too much of it. I don't know. It doesn't affect me. I have ADHD, so like I can just take a ton of caffeine and then just take a nap. I'm actually more like everywhere and hyperactive when I don't have like a stimulant or caffeine or something. Snoop says, I don't drink no coffee. No, I love coffee. I like the taste. Okay, back to.
You are trying to fight a problem with force when the solution is power.
We're definitely not going to watch the whole thing.
Can I ask you something real quick? Just because before we shift topics, I think it's important. A lot of what you're saying, I want to say back to you, and you tell me if I'm seeing your point well, is that individual responsibility here is more important than societal responsibility for keeping people healthy. I respect your viewpoint. Now, this is my viewpoint, and tell me what part of this you disagree with. I think individual responsibility is incredibly important. I try and instill that in all my patients, that exercise is important. I try all different strategies to try and get them individually motivated. But from a societal perspective, let's, for example, say we make a city more walkable. We make lighting more available, especially at night. We create more sidewalks, we make more parks, we create programs for kids to participate in after-school sports programs. Those are societal things that politicians can get behind. Don't you think that will make it easier for individuals to be healthy?
All of the money that you're advocating for and you're criticizing RFK Jr. for cutting in the budget, none of that money went to those things.
When you,
if you
diabetes
told me,
prevention, how do you think we think about diabetes prevention?
well, let me ask you this. How many people have diabetes right now? Has the number gone up since that program's been in effect for the past 30 years? So the question is, when is enough
I
enough?
told you, Darius,
The
I knew
definition
you'd
of
like
insanity
Dr. Mike.
is to do the same thing
You have,
over
like,
and
very
over again
similar
and expect different
personalities.
results.
Agreed.
It's
But
failed.
is it also
has failed.
insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half.
Okay, but is he doing nothing?
Being so
Yes.
critical.
No,
and
tell
he
me what
finds
he's done
around
to encourage
Jesus
people to
Christ.
exercise.
Okay, what about the law in Texas that he passed with, I forget exactly what it was, but he's going around, he's essentially using what would be considered his bully pulpit, and he's trying to inspire people and make cultural changes. And ultimately,
But
that's
he
going
can be
to
an
be more
inspirational
powerful.
figure and not be the head of Health and Human Services.
So it's really simple. Where has legislation gotten us? We take all of our time, all of our energy, and all of our budget, and we put it into legislation.
agree, it's been ineffective.
And here's the deal. Whether you want to admit it or not, when you have something
He
like
would love that we
pharmaceutical
check, like,
companies
just,
funding
like,
70% of
distribution
research,
funds,
okay?
please. I know,
Food
my
is healthy?
people.
No,
Do you think burgers and fries are healthy?
not at all.
Why in the
probably
first
would.
month that Secretary Kennedy was put into office, he's sitting at a Steak and Shake talking about how brave it is that they're frying the beef tallow?
do not. Well, first of all, putting fries in beef tallow actually is not unhealthy.
But it's not about whether or not it's unhealthy. Do you think sitting at a Steak and Shake, one of the leading contributors to our obesity epidemic,
I do not agree.
Was that valuable?
I do not agree with everything that he's done. I also.
What do you agree with besides the Texas individual?
I think that before he was getting into office, he was supporting regenerative agriculture. I think that regenerative agriculture has the ability to change the world. I find it comical that people drive Teslas because supposedly they're scared about global warming, and yet they eat vegetables, and they have no idea that there's 550 gigatons of carbon in the air from topsoil depletion, specifically related to vegetable row crop farming. There's only
This is why
350
we need
gigatons
apple
related to the
pies.
burning of burning of carbon fuels.
whatever it
We
is.
could literally
Like,
stop
fucking opinion.
all the carbon in the air, dead in its tracks, put it back in the soil in one year if we switched over to regenerative agriculture. Why isn't that being talked about?
Because he cut $15 million from the PFAS farm program to track PFASs, which are potentially toxic chemicals, on farms. He's cutting these programs.
Once
the
again, though,
EPA
it
is
goes back
losing
to
their
the
research
consumer.
and
It
development.
goes back to the consumer.
But how can the
If
consumer know about the
makes
farm?
different choices. What do you mean? How can the consumer? Like I said,
He
I was
is
in a
more
halfway house.
educated
Okay,
than a
I
lot
had
of the other
everything
ones
against
are.
me, and I still found a way
Like,
because.
I understand why a lot of meatheads are like this, you know? Like, I get it. Because it's when you have so much stuff being sold to you all the time, it's hard for you to distinguish the truth. You think that everything's a scam. Everything's a scam, government psyop, everything. He's got a political intellectual framework. It's not completely consistent or correct, but I can respect it. Yeah, it's like people try, but they just don't have the understanding of, like, I can trust a government institution to help me. There is no lack of trust. There is nothing. And that's why he is the way he is. Others will just have the government lies to you, etc. Yeah. Like, he's trying, but I don't even think he fully supports RFK Jr. I think he just likes how RFK Jr. points out a lot of things that he doesn't necessarily see a lot of other politicians pointing out. Just because you point it out, though, and remove it, doesn't mean that he's actually replacing it with something beneficial, which this guy, I feel like if he were to learn that, he would leave the RFK Jr., like, soapbox and be like, oh, ooh, you know, it just takes
I
time.
But
believe
what
in
if
it.
that Whole Foods
Even
that you
though
went
the
to
entire
had
system
toxic
was
foods
stacked
in it?
against me.
But what if the...
Pause,
But it didn't.
Pause. I'm sorry, even
Dr.
Sure,
Mike,
I appreciate
that was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yep.
A lot of the shit he said is absolutely nanners, though, Darius, but yeah.
Hello, hello.
You shouldn't be in charge.
Pleasure.
Mike.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
as well. I'm excited to be here because, you know, a lot of times when people do these debates, folks want to win, and genuinely, I want to learn from you guys
We
and
shouldn't have a
learn
goth
what
Billy
we're doing
doing
wrong in
this,
healthcare
no.
that's impacting you. So I'm all ears.
I completely agree. It's not about winning, it's about getting to the truth. And I think we all can agree that we all want the truth. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why I support RFK, is because he supports
He does want to win
transparency,
Darius, right?
and especially with like vaccines and healthcare and everything like that. Another thing about RFK is that he's working to get fluoride out of the water. Why do we have fluoride in the water in the first place? Is it for dental care? I think that's an
Yes.
individual thing. If you want strong teeth, you should probably just brush your teeth and floss. You know what I mean? You shouldn't rely on a government regulated system
No,
of our water
that's not how
system
teeth
to
work.
give you good dental care. Like, I feel like there's ulterior motives.
Are
you
you
know what I mean?
against government programs that try and help?
Wait,
groups
he's
of
not going to
people
dive
as-
into this. Okay, fluoride is very important for your teeth because what happens as you get older, whether you're pregnant or you don't have a lot of vitamins or whatever, or even just normal like degradation of like the teeth or whatever, your teeth will just degrade over time. What fluoride does is it acts as a way to protect the enamel. It will bind to your physical tooth. It will bind to your physical tooth, and it prevents plaque, which is like, and calculus from, or calculus, that's what it's called, from building up on your teeth and giving you cavities. That's what it does. That's what fluoride does. That's why it's so important to give children fluoride treatments. But she doesn't understand it, and it drives me crazy because fluoride is good. You're not giving people enough fluoride that their brains are gonna, they're not gonna get toxicity from it. You spit out toothpaste, and the fluoride in the water can be filtered out through a water purification system you have in your house if
Opposed
you
to
don't
just
like it.
individuals?
Not necessarily. It just depends on what it is.
Well, because when we say in America that the chronic health diseases in children is
I love
going up,
fluoride.
it is, and I think I agree with everyone here
We're
on
not
that.
Serbians,
Statistics
bro.
don't lie, but one of those chronic issues is dental disease. So if
You know
we
what I
can
think
do
can
something,
be improved by that? I think parents should stop giving their children so much sugar. Or maybe we should look at the food industry and ask why there's so much sugar in absolutely everything.
can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Are you going to bring up correlation?
No.
Yeah, you can walk and chew gum at the
So
same
you
time.
can do both things. Like, why can't we encourage patients and parents to not overfeed their kids
We can.
added sugars
We can.
and make government programs that improve children's health?
But there's no point, why would I want water with an extra ingredient if I could just have pure water? You know what I mean? Why would I need a government organization
can
to
buy
put
water
a
without
chemical?
fluoride
But
in
why
it.
should I have to buy it? I think water, obviously, nothing's free.
You
but,
still buy it.
Water without chemicals should be free to get. If I want to drink out of my faucet, I should be able to do that without having fluoride in it, without having to worry about
Parent education
fluoridosis
classes are
or
not paid
any
for by the
other
government like it is in Japan or
overfluoridation,
Korea.
in my body. Why would I not be
and you're
privy to
against
that?
buying a filter to get rid
I'm
of
not
that.
against
most
that, but why should I
places.
have to go out and buy that?
Well, because everything,
know what I mean?
everything in healthcare or
Darius!
public health always has a trade-off. Like, if I'm giving anyone any medication, any therapy, there's always risks and benefits. So when we think about the benefit of putting fluoride in water in order to get kids to have healthier teeth, we think about the impact on the general population. And in fact, you're right. There's been some research that shows people who have high levels of fluoride, especially children. Actually, this doesn't apply to adults at all, but only for children. They can have neurologic issues.
Exactly.
However, it's very important to look at the numbers and the areas that were studied, because certain areas, like in Asia, they have naturally very high levels
Anyone
of
can be
fluoride, not
taught,
added
which
by the
makes someone
government,
an idiot
natural occurring
is
fluoride.
rejecting
And those numbers are
information.
quite high. So it really depends on what that number is and what that safe number is.
The thing about Asia is if that's naturally in the water, then people from Asia are naturally adapted to that, which means it wouldn't
so if you
affect
moved
them.
to Asia, you would have neurologic issues?
If you said it didn't apply to adults, then maybe not, because I'm
I mean,
already,
as a child.
As a child, probably. If you're not from that area, your body's not adapted to that, which means if there's studies shown that people who have high levels of fluoride in their body have neurological issues, then yeah, I'm sure that they would.
Well,
but also,
the-
on another note, hold on one second. On another note, why? Because if there's fluoride in the water and fluoride in the toothpaste and chemicals in our food, there comes a point where these things start stacking up. And I would much rather have kids with cavities than kids with neurological issues. You know what I mean?
That's a false choice.
It's-
You're not choosing kids with neurologic disease or cavities. That's not really
Just
the
gonna
two
let 'em
choices
cook
you're making when
while
you're
I eat
making
my
that
candy.
So then
decision.
what's the choice?
So I guess my question to you is, when you say chemicals, like oxygen's a chemical, water's a chemical. So how do I am trying to really get down to the core of your argument to better understand you. I'm not
Okay.
trying to get you in a gotcha, I promise.
Yeah.
So like, how do you decide what a chemical is? Is dihydrogen monoxide a chemical in your book?
Dihydrate. Can you give me like the short version?
Dihydrogen monoxide.
Is that oxygen?
No, that's water.
Water. Oh, water.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could
I'm
make
not
anything.
a chemist or anything.
But I'm not trying to trick you.
No,
The
that's
point
a
is to
compound.
show
That's
you-
a compound.
It's a chemical.
There's a thing, but there's a difference between endogenous chemicals, things that I can make, my body makes, right?
Right.
And exogenous chemicals that
But does
come
your
from
body make
external-
water?
Does my body
I
make
can
fluoride?
eat. So here's the thing,
does your-
Darius. I can eat this candy because I take fluoride. And I use fluoride mouthwash every night before bed. I put a fluoride treatment on my teeth every single day. And I can eat candy. And I can eat frozen things because I have a good enamel. And I can have this. I honestly really only ever have candy on stream, by the way. But I can eat it. It's a false choice. Posey, listen to Mike. No, I'm literally, that's not a false choice. It's literally, I can have the candy because I protect my teeth. It's not going to cause as much damage to my teeth, if any damage, because I protect them. And I brush my teeth after I eat candy.
Body
But
make
I know.
water.
Oh,
You need water.
I don't mind.
I
eating
need
my
water
candy
to
now.
live. Okay, but my body is 72%
Those are
water, which
the-
means
so.
that I am fully made of water. Like I was
Like, we
born.
need essential
I was born
amino
with
acids.
Water.
They're
I was
called-
born with water.
you-
You know what I mean? I wasn't born with fluoride in
Yeah,
my
but the
system.
water came from your parent,
My what? Yeah,
From
my
your
parent.
parent.
I'm
Of
not-
course, but
who
I didn't
got
get
water
any,
from the environment.
That's fine, but like,
There's
So there's
where
certain
did the
things
first
we need.
single-celled amoeba get the water from? You know what I mean? Like we've all, any
She's saying
living
that
being has
people
water,
shouldn't have the
right?
chemicals.
But
But
not
we
everything.
need the water to survive. We need
That's
food
fine.
to
We're
survive.
not here to debate about water. So what's your point?
My point is, how do you decide what's a bad chemical versus a good chemical?
The effects on the body.
Okay,
Right.
pause. We're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Nice seeing you.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say
Jonathan.
thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a
Bro.
mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information.
Jonathan says a U.S. Special Operations team boarded by a ship in the Indian Ocean last month and seized military-related articles headed from Iran to China. U.S. officials said to the Wall Street Journal. You should send me the link.
You need to understand the news, allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you.
Why is my
Their work
crowd?
is trying to break the bias bubble, helping you understand how every side of the political spectrum is reporting on a story so you get a full picture of the news. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News.
The music
They
is
deliver the
vibing.
facts, unbiased, balanced, and designed to make sense of a complex world, getting you the clarity you deserve and news you can trust.
Jonathan.
Go to
But he said in chat,
san.com/surrounded
unless
or
it's
click
like
the
a glitch or
link in the
whatever.
description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism. Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for
I'm gonna play while you're
partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next surrounded claim is that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
True. Oh, this is an interesting article. A U.S. Special Operations team in the Indian Ocean raided a ship headed from Iran to China last month. It seized military-related articles. Wall Street Journal reported on Friday, citing U.S. officials. The cargo consisted of components potentially useful for Iran's conventional weapons, an official said, and added the shipment had been destroyed. Interesting. The United States is like, let's go on other people's ships and just either fucking steal everything and then destroy it, and then say that we're in the right or whatever. It's fucking crazy. Didn't the U.S. like fucking board an oil tanker yesterday or something like that too? Anyways, what about it, Jonathan? What about? I'm not surprised. They honestly do this shit all the time. I usually don't get to talk about this stuff, but no, America's been really trying to get involved in foreign affairs like that. And then they criticize like China for doing it or any other country for doing it, but America can do it and it's fine. Somehow. But yeah, long story short, it's basically committing illegal acts over and over again. The United States, from what they said, had no ties to the information whatsoever. We're not at war with Iran or China, so they shouldn't have boarded it. It's kind of like the one op that we heard about, I think a year or two ago, where maybe it was longer than that, I don't know, where like America had like an op, a SEALs op or whatever, that went to North Korea and that sort of thing, and then they came back. You're in a sanctioned POV. Yeah, but we're not at war. You're not supposed to board anyone, or you don't have the right to board if like a foreign country's like vessel, the right to, unless you're like at war with them or they're in your waters. Just because it's sanctioned doesn't mean that you're like supposed to or allowed to do it. I don't think that America's allowed to do it. If you have documentation that says America is, I'd like to see it, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of difficult because, like, I guess we just don't know what the information is. So how important is it? Probably here just reading it at the moment. Yeah. Maritime stakeholders anticipating mitigating Iranian oil sanctions invasion. Iran's evasive shipping practices create acute sanctions for foreign maritime sector stakeholders. Let's see. You guys can see what I'm looking at. In February 2025, OFAC imposed sanctions on over 30% of vessels in multiple jurisdictions for their role in brokering the sale of transportation of Iranian petroleum-related products and shipping tens of millions of barrels of crude oil valued to hundreds of millions of dollars. This included oil brokers in the United Arab Emirates, Hong Kong, tanker operations managers in India, China, the Seychelles, and vessels registered with flag states Panama, Barbados, and Cook Islands. Let's see, what do they do about it? Verify registration, know your customer, monitor for vessel location data manipulation, implement appropriate contractual controls, refuse service or report entry to sanctioned vessel, and leverage resources. None of this is about, like, actually boarding it, you know? Yeah, it's mainly about denying service. Like, it's not legal to board another ship unless you're at war with them. And Congress has to state that we're at war with them, which we're not at war with Iran. Oh, messy, messy. This is why people don't like America. It's pissed. We'll see what comes of it.
Hi, doctor.
Hello,
Pleasure
pleasure.
to meet you. Okay, so repeat your claim for me.
My claim is that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient
Thank you,
relationship.
Darius.
Okay, so for me,
And thank you,
I'm going to
Jonathan.
take this back to COVID, and I don't want to stay on this topic. I
This
have
will
the
be
Delta
important later.
variant,
Okay.
and I went to the doctors and I told them I'm sick, got tested positive, and my doctor told me go home until you cannot breathe.
Okay.
At the same time, we didn't have any of the
Scary advice.
Yeah, we didn't have any of the monoclonal antibodies. We
She has
weren't
a
offered
Charlie
any
Kirk shirt.
therapies where I was listening to doctors and then watching them be censored. So I think if anything damaged the doctor-patient relationship,
Is she actually
that was
Canadian?
it. For me, I actually had a friend run up to my house from Huntington Beach, about a 2-hour drive,
It'd be cursed.
brought me azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin. Within 48 hours, I started to recover.
Wow, it's a lot of
So-
drugs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that hurt the doctor-patient relationship more than anything else.
Because your doctor sent you home without
Not
treatment.
good at
Well,
accents.
that doctor and 2 telemed doctors.
I see.
All of them. No drugs, nothing
Or
to treat
Can I
what
ask
I
you something
had.
about that?
Absolutely.
I'm saying that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship. And you're talking about how the COVID pandemic sabotaged the doctor-patient relationship.
Correct.
You know what's wild? I agree with you. I think we sabotage the doctor-patient relationship.
Great.
So can
And
we
I-
talk about how the Maha movement's impacting it?
Well, I want to share with you what I'm going through right now because a month ago my husband collapsed and had a brain tumor.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's glioblastoma,
That's terrible.
And I don't want to cry.
No, why?
But,
No. Take a breath.
It's valid to
Yeah.
cry.
Totally acceptable to cry.
Yeah, but what I'm running into
Nathan.
now is they want us to do standard care. Where I think as a patient, we should have the right to try. We're currently looking into Dr. Sun Xiang's trial for his bioimmunity therapy.
Okay.
He's getting treatment at Cedar, couldn't ask for better oncologists, but we cannot treat him with immunity therapies until he goes through chemo and radiation, which basically, if he's not doing bioimmunity, that's going to kill both his good and bad cells. So for me, this is really personal at this point. I am looking into it, and I'm seeing the people that you want funded getting in the way of my husband's treatment, where I and my husband as a patient should have a right to try.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert in oncology.
Okay.
Isn't there such thing as right to try legislation that already exists?
There is, but I
is
don't
true.
know why. Like, for instance, it's the FDA's in the way.
But the FDA is currently run by Secretary Kennedy. So is he your
and
enemy
again,
right
but
now?
see, right now,
'Cause then we're on the same team.
Well, but at the same time, we can also go back into Biden's administration, where all the money was going
He
into
is
changing
using a lot of
kids'
pathways,
genders.
you're right.
All the
And-
money?
Well, a lot
my
of
God.
it. A
How
lot
much
of
of
that
it?
was. Well, I don't know the dollar amount, but again,
Is that important?
I think that the whole industry has failed us, and I can't
agree.
even go back into who's in power. What I do like about Kennedy, if we're gonna
please.
stick on
Yeah,
Kennedy,
give me.
I like that for the first time I found out how dangerous this water bottle I'm drinking out of is. I like for the fact that they're taking these dyes out of food. I like that they just passed where
This
they're
is
going to lower the
something
drug
that,
prices,
like-
where
Oh, yeah.
we end up paying the same
Democrats
amount as
have
people
also
from all
been
over the
pushing
world.
for it, too.
These are
Yeah.
things I like. I don't think that I've ever seen a perfect HHS secretary, and I can agree
And the
that there's
Republicans
things
were
that Kennedy
against it.
probably is doing that I don't agree with, but there's definitely
Look at
the
the
thing
shit in
that I like
2010.
about him
Like, oh my God.
is he's opening up other options, where before I feel like everything was, you must do it by this. And again, I would like to see the FDA broken. I've been trolling Dr. Soon nonstop to the point I've gotten in touch with him, but my husband's starting chemo on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
And so there, I
And the
just
system-
barfed all over you.
No. Look, you're the person that every time I make a video about, I think about. Every time I'm going to the hospital to work, you're the person I'm thinking about. Every time I fact check one of Secretary Kennedy's claims, you're the person I think about. You're the person
Sorry?
I want to get accurate information, not information from Biden's secretary, not from President Trump's secretary. I don't care who's secretary. I want you to get the honest information so you can decide what's right for you and your husband. And currently, I don't feel like that's happening. And I'll explain why so you could decide if what you think I'm saying is bullshit or not. In
Trump will just
2024,
say
when
that-
Secretary Kennedy was running
I
for
don't know, we
president,
just shouldn't have authority
he was
in
on
waters
stage
that far away,
and he
though.
talked about how GLP-1
the
medications,
thing.
these Ozempics, Wegovy's and such, paralyze your stomach. They do these terrible things to your body.
It'll be
They're
interesting
poisoning
to
our
see what
nation.
happens in the
In
next
Europe,
year or
they're
so.
illegal.
Probably a couple
All of
months,
that is
honestly.
untrue or overblown. A year later, he's standing with President Trump, celebrating that Americans are having access to these medications. How can you believe what he's saying when every time he's flip-flopping about the truth to you? When in early 2000s, he's doing interviews about mercury. He says vaccines save hundreds, millions of lives. And then now he's telling you they're a big problem and causing people death. How do you decide when he's telling the truth versus when he's not, when there's constant hypocrisy coming from him as an
I
individual?
don't know if I'm
Well, I
the
don't think
person
that
you want to
it's
talk to
100%.
about that.
I think that there's good things and there's bad things with anybody that's in power.
I agree.
And for me, I honestly am not coming here just gung-ho. I want to learn from you. I think
Listening
you
better,
are here
sure.
in
Appreciate
good
that.
faith. I don't think that you're a bad man just trying to win the argument. And trust me, I've sat in this chair where that's exactly what the person in the other seat wants to do. What I would like is to see
So do you hate
freedom
America?
for you as
No.
a doctor.
Sure.
What I would like to see is freedom for me
They
as a
want nukes
patient.
so America and other
to be
countries
able to
won't fuck with
pursue
them
those
anymore.
avenues that are best. Again, as far as Ozempic, you know what? If you eat too much ice cream, I say cut down on the ice cream. I'm not 100% behind that whole Ozempic thing because I think it's vain. I think
What
that
about
there's-
for people who have
It's vain.
diabetes?
well, I think that there's better ways for them to
That's
lose
funny.
weight. ex-son-in-law has diabetes and the bad kind, and yet he drinks alcohol. You know, that's probably worse for him than anything. But I do like what Kennedy's doing as far as not
The
censoring
dyes you mentioned.
the
American
dyes
imperialism,
and the
then? Yes.
plastics in our food, getting
I
the
do in fact hate
pesticides
that.
out of our
So
food,
let's
thing
talk
like
about the
that.
dyes, because I think that's an interesting point. You know, a lot of
Right
people
behind
talk
him
about
simply
red dye
just been
number
the best
40,
thing that
but there
happens
was
to
some
society.
research
Just
showing that
more and
kids
more
who
attractive people to
overconsume
buy
it
nobody
have
diet.
higher
What the
rates of
fuck?
hyperactivity and potentially tying it to
You're-
ADHD. You've heard that? So that
But we were literally just talking about how Ozempic is not good for you in the long term. Like how it can degrade your body and cause multiple issues. I make no claims to not be anything but shallow. Oh my god, Darius! I know. People are gonna... The problem with Ozempic is that when you get off of it, most people do. They do tend to gain most of the weight back. Because it's not long-standing. And it's to the point where people can literally just get GLP-1s or whatever at, like, med spas. Just go and get your dose and be like, there you go, there's my diet for my event that I have coming up. Crazy.
research is real. It
Right.
does exist. It's shorter term,
Oh my
but
God,
it does
Darius.
exist. So I actually think removing these
I don't
petroleum-based
think I'm as
dyes
shallow
is
as
not
you are.
necessarily a bad thing. I
I
think
am
it's a
pretty
plus
shallow
side
too.
into
But
Secretary
I have
Kennedy's
different ways
agenda.
of going about it.
However, the issues that you're talking about
Ew.
giving doctors a chance to be with their patients the way we're spending time together is a
They
systemic
are,
flaw.
Jonathan, they are.
We don't get time with our patients. The difference between seeing a naturopath versus a primary care doctor is that the primary care doctor usually spends 5 to 10
Mag is
minutes
going
with
fucking
you.
crazy.
And that's not because they don't like you or they don't care about you. It's the system sucks for them.
It's
So
true,
can we get
Darius.
Secretary Kennedy to change the system?
Really quick, what I would like to see happen
There's a lot
was
of
you as a
hypocrisy.
physician be able to reach across the aisle and work synergetically with other doctors that are specialists in other areas.
Sure.
For instance, with this oncology, the oncologist should work with the radiologist who should be working with
they're not?
bioimmunity.
When she's
well, they're
done.
not allowed to work with the bioimmunity until he does radiation and chemo, which are going to destroy all of his good cells. So that's a problem. So
He just says, okay, is it mainly about Epstein and Civil War? There's lots of layers to what's going on with fucking the right-wing side of everything right now. Holy shit, it's insane. You have Epstein. You have people who are pro-MAGA, people against MAGA. People who are upset with losing their jobs and all of the things that are now impacting them. You have people who are upset about their reproductive rights being taken away to Israel, as well as another one. More and more people are becoming pro-Palestinian and view government officials to be sellouts, even on the conservative side. Tim Pool versus Owens, that is true. Candace Owens is a big one too. The Timcast host has lashed out at Owens for her months-long series on Kirk's death, rating her a vile, evil scumbag for bilking the assassination of a mutual friend. Poole said this week that shots were fired at his property by an unknown suspect and that he's now considering shutting down his studio. Which, I mean, he doesn't have enough funding anyways. Like, no one watches his show, but that's just my personal opinion. That's why I don't want to cover this shit. Jonathan says, I don't know what other people are saying either. So maybe people have mentioned that, but maybe not. Milo Yiannopoulos and Benny Johnson. Yiannopoulos, a longtime provocateur overshadowed in his recent years by newer right-wing voices, made personal attacks on Johnson, who threatened to sue, posting on X, I am duty-bound to take action to protect my family against those who maliciously defame and attack us. Yiannopoulos gleefully welcomed the suit. Johnson didn't reply to a request for comment. Let's see, Darius says, I'm not sure MAGA is pro-Pally. It's more about sending Americans money in it. They don't give a fuck. It's not even about that. A lot of people, well, there's a lot of MAGA people who are very much like against Jewish people. Like, they hate Jewish people, which is like fucking crazy. So that's why they don't like it. And people said that Tucker Carlson and like Candace Owens kind of fell into that category. But yeah. Jonathan says, Tucker Carlson versus Laura Loomer. Yeah, she's in a lot of shit right now because she's crazy. Carlson, both of them are. Carlson, a critic of U.S. support of Israel and other foreign entanglements, has faced months of accusations from pro-Israel Republicans that he is funded by Qatar. Claimed he denies, but he also is going to buy property in Qatar too. And he interviewed the one dude. But after Carlson appeared in the annual Doha Forum this week and revealed he plans to buy a home in Qatar. Okay, you're talking about it. Loomer and Fox News host Mark Levin blasted him as a hypocrite and accused him of laundering Qatar's reputation. But literally, why would they have to do that when Trump is literally like, they were talking about hosting a ton of Qatari military officials, planes, and everything like that in an Air Force base. Like, I don't know why people are saying that he's being a sellout when he is literally following suit with what Trump's administration has been doing with Qatar. I mean, Trump then, I can't remember if it was like before or after, but I mean, he also was like, oh, Israel is gonna bomb Qatar. Oh, I don't know. I don't approve, but oh. But anyways, Barry says, I'm surprised that the gay Republicans are so fine with the rise in Christian nationalism. To their credit, the American right seemed to be over gay people like 10 years ago. Qatar can fuck off, to be honest. There are such troublemakers in the Middle East. Rigged the World Cup, too. I feel like you're more bad about the World Cup. Qatar is like, there's a lot of shit going on there, especially with the wars in Sudan and Yemen and everything, too. And they're just like, they have the ability to stand up more, but they choose to be like a neutral, and they say that they're for peace, but they also profit off of like the blood gold and all the blood money involved too. But that's a whole nother discussion. Argentina win the World Cup by giving a penalty in every knockout round. Basel us 1-0 to the Saudis. Do me a favor.
I think as far as everything that's gone on, like for instance, you brought up the kids with the ADHD. When my son was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher who didn't like that he was a boy and hyperactive. She came to me in 3rd grade, put him on pills.
Yeah, that's rude. I'm sorry.
And I said no.
That shouldn't happen.
And I said no. But how many kids?
And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen because no children should be on the medication.
Yeah, but you're
it's
putting
too
everybody
early.
on it.
I will, this is another point I will succumb.
Right.
We are sometimes too quick to start medications.
Right.
And I think the reason for this needs to be evaluated.
Right.
Part of it, we have less time with our patients, so therefore we have to just do what we can. Second, we also have patients that are very consumer driven. Give me a pill to fix it as opposed to making me do the work to fix it. I don't want to patient blame, but this is the reality of what happens. So how do we fix all of these big problems without creating disconnects by cutting research budgets? Like if Secretary Kennedy
Well, I
came,
want to know where that money went because
it didn't go anywhere.
Well, a
It
lot
just
of
got
this
cut.
money though was going to insurance companies.
The research dollars doesn't go to insurance.
Well, I would, seeing what happens in local politics, I see a lot of money laundering going on. I hate to say it. Pleasure.
Thank you so
sir.
much. I appreciate you.
I really
gosh,
appreciate
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
It's cold. Okay.
Pleasure.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So talk to me. How do you feel about the sabotaging of the doctor-patient relationship by the MAHA movement?
I don't agree with it. I don't think that MAHA is sabotaging the relationship. As a matter of fact, I think it's cultivating confidence in patients to be able to speak to their doctors because it's providing education in a way that has never been there before. And I know you were talking about research, and so you're a busy doctor. Do you have time to do research?
When you say do research, do you mean actually do clinical trials myself?
Follow all of the data.
Sure.
You do. So you, in addition to a week-long log of patients, you make time to read all of the material and all of the data about different topics.
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
Sometimes I do it in the room with the patient.
Okay,
because I'm
great.
family medicine, so like a lot of different
Awesome.
conditions
Doing these
come.
trials
So,
is
absolutely.
Well, you're very rare.
Well, I appreciate that, but let me ask you a question
Yeah.
so we can get off to perhaps a better talking point.
You're talking about RFK or Mike?
Secretary Kennedy,
Yes.
in the last few months, went on a podcast and basically defamed all doctors in the United States by saying doctors are just interested in profit and keeping patients sick. Hearing that line as a patient yourself, do you feel that your doctor is in your best interest, is working in your best interest? And do you have more trust in your doctor after hearing that line?
So I have enormous respect for Bobby Kennedy. I feel like he's educated and informed and does the research on the data and has worked on cases that he's become familiarized with medical data. So I believe that when he speaks, he comes from a place of informed.
Who's
So you
Bobby
agree that
Kennedy?
doctors-
So I'm going to answer that as well. So
She calls him
when I go
Bobby.
to my doctor, typically my doctor, I don't have, thank goodness, I don't have a lot of health issues, but when I have, my doctor wants to move me to medication, which always makes me think that in med school, that doctors are trained to find
She's
a
parasocial
medicalized
with
solution
Bobby.
rather than an alternative solution that empowers my own immune system and my own body.
Okay.
And so when I go in to talk to my doctor will look at me and be like, okay, you don't want any of that. And I'd be like, no, I want to have a different conversation. And MAHA provides that because it's talking about removing dyes. And I'm also a parent. So for me, there's things that involve children that I so appreciate MAHA presenting, because before there wasn't a choice. Doctors thought of parents and patients as kind of dumb.
I agree that 20, 30 years ago, that was absolutely the education.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it still can exist.
Yeah, because doctors are older, so that's true. I'd love for you if you can answer that question. Like, by hearing Secretary Kennedy say that doctors are just interested in keeping you sick, does that improve your relationship with your doctor or not?
I would have to hear the context.
That's the context.
But I mean like the whole thing, because one thing that I've experienced a lot with Bobby is that people get sound bites and they don't hear the entire interview and the entire dialogue, and then they piecemeal it and then they go, that man.
Yeah,
and
people do that with things.
Right.
What's
So,
a way that he could have been saying that in a genuine way?
well, in a genuine way, I think he was, I can't speak for him.
Sure.
But my experience of Bobby is that he is a genuine, compassionate, kind, caring
she's fallen
human.
into the parasocial.
And he takes his work very seriously, and his commitment to ending chronic health disease and making sure children are healthy and adults are healthy is very, very important to him. So, but if I heard that, I probably would have been like, I want to understand more about where he is coming from,
What the fuck
because
are you
it doesn't
on
line
about,
up for me
Darius?
that
I'm
he would
confused.
just generalize that all doctors are doing that. But in context, he might have been referring to something.
So if one of the participants here that are surrounding us came up to me after the show and said that you're a liar and everything you say is untrue, that perhaps could be said in a nice way?
Oh, well, I would probably think that maybe there's something going on
Or
for
called
that
you a bad mother?
I've been
Wouldn't
called
that
a
hurt?
lot of things.
Oh, wouldn't that hurt?
Yeah.
It would make me think for a moment, like, do you know me?
Sure.
Do you know what I do? Do you know how I am? Do you know my
Right.
professionalism?
That's how I feel as a doctor when Secretary Kennedy says that to me. He says we're interested in people keeping people sick for profit. I don't even take a salary to work as a doctor
Right.
anymore. The YouTube stuff is so successful. I really am showing up for my patients pro bono because I want to help people. I'm here pro bono.
Right.
I flew here myself for free because I want to give you the best information. And you said Secretary Kennedy is well researched.
Yes.
He goes on the podiums and he says inaccuracies all the time. And look, everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm not about gotchas. I'm not that
Right,
guy.
right.
But when you say back in the day,
Death of the
kids
author.
who had diabetes almost never
Bro.
existed, and now 1 in 3 kids have diabetes, it's a lie. 1 in 300 kids have diabetes. So like, how much do I as a YouTuber, have to fact check Secretary Kennedy, the Director of Health and Human Services, before he comes out and says,
True.
I messed up. I need to tell you the truth and I'm getting the numbers wrong so often. When does that happen?
That's a really good point. I
Sure.
don't know. I guess we'd have to
Sure,
go
sure.
back also to during COVID
But
when they
there's
made
something
these.
I do want to add where like a lot of people don't have the time to fact check. Like right now, you can see how she's directly calling him Bobby. Like he goes by Robert Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, and that sort of thing. But she has this like closeness to them to the point where she feels comfortable calling him Bobby. Like she doesn't view him to be like Dr. Kennedy or anything like that. She doesn't see his professional status. She sees like what she wants to see out of him. It's not his actual experience or anything that she's really paying attention to. She's like, oh, well, he's talked about a couple of things that I approve of, therefore I trust him and he's reliable. He can make mistakes, but overall, no matter what happens, she has these rose-colored glasses on for him. And that's why I think it's really dangerous. That's why I don't watch a lot of, like, people and just blindly take what they say because it stresses me out. I don't want to be like that. Especially when you don't know them personally. Or have, like, seen enough of their, like, actual, like, life. Like, you're not in proxy with them, you know? So you don't have the backing to say that. So she's just kind of blindly trusting him. No proximity, at least to our knowledge as an audience, to him. And she's like, oh, but you know, he's trustworthy, he knows a lot, he knows all that. You haven't been near him. You haven't been close to him. You haven't watched him live his life from like close proximity. So how would you know? How would you know? He could just be parroting what other people tell him. You don't know. Yeah, you should always say Jesus Christ, not Jesus, because you're not on first name terms with greed. No. I'm saying it's a sign. It's a sign of the like when people like when people come into my stream and they have nicknames for Trump, when they call him like Ronnie or whatever or something like that. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm making a joke. Okay, cool. Yeah,
really,
it's just
outrageous statements that weren't true either. Go back.
It adds layers. It's harder to get through to people who are like that.
There have been mistakes, and
I have multiple videos on my YouTube channel, including podcasts, where we talk about every mistake we made, I made during the pandemic, because ultimately it's about trying to figure out how to do better, not to score political points.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Got it. All right. Hi, nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure. Jack?
So, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I got your name.
So I think to start this off, there's actually some truth to what he said. So yeah, as of right, what Kennedy said.
Okay.
So the truth is that after the year 2000,
Give me someone
doctors say
feral next.
that
I
one
feel
in
like
three
he's
children will
talking to me like
actually
that.
develop diabetes in their lifetime. So there's actually so often a lot more truth to what Kennedy says than what you give him. And I know that
So
you're
he
not
just said it inaccurately? You mean like, because he said, this is a quote unquote, that currently 1 in 3 children have diabetes.
I mean, it could have been that maybe the wording was wrong, but the truth is that if you were born after the year 2000, 1 in 3 people are going to develop diabetes
As a
in their
prediction.
lifetime. Yes. And so I think so often what we can do with Kennedy is we can still paint him in bad faith, even if that's not our intention. And I think one of the things that you said actually was that Kennedy said that half of the people in China have diabetes, right? And I remember in this video you said, no, it's actually 13% of people. I'm like, total fact check. Well, the truth is that while 13% of people in China do have diabetes, the truth is that making up the rest of that 50% margin are actually people that right now already have pre-diabetes. And from 2005 to 2023, there has been a 50% increase in the number of people with diabetes in the country of China.
So what you're saying is he gets it wrong, but the intention is good?
Well, I mean, when you
or
are
sort of right?
Sorry, when you're in the public eye for years and years and years and years, there's a good shot that you're going to misword something that says,
Sure. Did he come out and correct himself when he did that?
Well, in many cases, he has come out and correct himself. I mean, the truth
What
is,
cases are those?
okay, so specifically
Especially
the case
when
in
called
Tylenol.
out.
I mean, he came back and he said there is not enough scientific evidence to say that Tylenol causes autism.
So doesn't that concern you
No.
as a person who lives in the United States, that there's a press conference,
Yeah.
there's the president, Health and Human Services Secretary, the director of CMS, Dr. Oz, and they're telling you, even Dr. Makari, who runs FDA,
Right.
goes on
Ooh.
weeknight shows on Fox and says
This
there's a
is-
causal relationship
No,
between
wait.
Tylenol and autism. This is quote unquote, I'm not twisting words. This is what was said. And then 2 weeks later, they go, nah, never mind. Doesn't that upset you in the same way that we flip-flopped back in COVID days? I'm curious why it changes.
So here's the thing you have to understand, and I know you know this, and the truth is that science is a constant practice, it's a constant thing.
know you know
and so
this.
medicine specifically is also constant in itself. The thing is if something is a fact, then it will be able to be refuted, then it will stand no matter what. Whenever you come
unless
to
you learn something new, and maybe that will
which
change
is true.
the fact.
But if we have scientific facts established and they are in fact true,
Yeah, the
then they will
autism press
simply
conference is
stand. And that's the
wild.
thing. The thing that I appreciate about Kennedy is he understands that science at the highest levels is a constant debate. And so when you see a study come out that contradicts the status quo, to say that and to say, okay, Americans, we have found that, whatever could do whatever, contrary to what's believed, specifically in the Tylenol situation, it's good that he presented that we found this, and then he actually retracted that 2 weeks later, I believe. So I think that it's very, very important to say, if we do find something, and there's scientific evidence for something
Must have
that
been a
does
big
go
day
against
for
the
me.
grain,
What do you
to
mean?
come out there and
Oh,
say that you
watching
have that
it?
evidence.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting what you're pointing out.
This is another joke that implies
I
you're
would
autism.
say
Okay,
a year
well, shut the
before
fuck
this
up.
press conference, I had a video lined
I
up to
asked dumb
talk
'cause
about
I-
the
be
relationship
nice
between
to me.
Tylenol and autism in those who are pregnant.
Wait.
So like I literally was making a video on that subject.
Okay.
And just because of production delays and such, we didn't get a chance to put it out. So in the medical community, we were already understanding that there is a potential tie there, an association. We knew that there wasn't a causal link to prove that definitely
Right,
taking
because it's not
Tylenol
even
causes-
widely agreed as of today what causes autism,
Exactly.
right? But then again, I think that we should constantly be looking into these things a little bit
But
deeper
we
than we
are.
already do. Well, there's a problem here because 70%
Like
of
the research he's quoting wasn't done the week he presented it. Do you know why it was presented this September when he presented it?
So the research wasn't done in September of 2025.
Yeah,
He
it was done.
presented-
It was done a long period before that. There was multiple research because you said we need to look
So
into
you
it.
said that there's multiple. There's
Research
multiple, You said there's
articles.
multiple of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there were multiple of them. And it's like
Valid.
it actually posed a red flag in this situation.
No, do you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it? Because at the beginning of his time and his tenure, he promised that by September we'd find the cause of autism. And because he did not
Yeah,
find
that
it,
never
because we've been
happened.
looking for it, we want to help people. I want to find the cause of autism. I'm being honest with you. I wish I could help my patients.
Flip the switch really fast.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
but I really want to be, I want to show you how passionate I am because when Secretary Kennedy raises his voice, people see his passion.
Okay.
And we in healthcare don't have the same passion. So I want to show
He's
you
like,
my
"I'm
passion.
gonna give you the
we want to
same
find
shit.
it. And we haven't
Deal
found
with
it.
it."
And when he presents to you a fake link because he knows it doesn't exist, why are you not mad at him like we are mad at him?
Sir,
Answer that question.
I don't know how you can say that today everyday Americans should be trusting research that's put out because there was a recent study
I
that was done
told
that
you,
said
it's the
70% of studies that are
mistrust
put out have a conflict of interest, the majority of which are for undisclosed amounts, and the average amount that is known is $27,000 per
So
physician.
should we throw out all research? Why are you trusting? Do you know if there's a
70
conflict of
if-
interest with
sir,
the Tylenol
if
research?
70
I told
I'm
you
not
it's the
arguing with
mistrust.
you.
That's
I agree
everything they
conflict
bring
of
up.
Flip
research
the switch
exists.
so fast, and then it's like,
But
whoa,
I
this is
agree with you.
intense.
No, I'm intense because I'm
I'm
advocating
glad we
for
agree on
patients,
that. So
not
am I.
because I'm mad at you.
Well, so am I. And the thing is that what's known as when you come in and
need
obviously you
some
can't directly
Feralvis,
receive money from
bro.
Big Pharma. However,
Well, you can.
He's not
can-
really
it's
gonna
in
give you a
kickbacks
lot
and
of
it's also
that.
in funding.
Well, you can get paid to speak at conferences, promote certain medications. That's
Right,
absolutely
and then
doable.
it's shown that the majority in family practice and cardiology, every specialty, the majority of physicians have received
Yeah.
conflict of interest payments. They've been paid
Sure.
off by Big Pharma, and that's to be
How
said.
do you
is
know that?
It's 75. I saw the statistic. I don't
Well,
have the
no,
source.
I'll help you.
I mean,
I agree.
We could talk
It's
about
disclosed.
this after.
It's disclosed.
Right. These things have to be disclosed. But the thing is that something.
Do you know
as-
what that law is
Sir,
called?
something as much as as little as $20 actually can change the prescription
agree.
given by a doctor, and I think this is a major problem. And you guys
I
have broken
agree.
trust with the American
I agree.
citizen.
So look, it needs to be disclosed. Money can create conflict. Agree with you totally. I don't
That's why you
disagree with
see
the sentence
ads.
you said.
So
Well,
should we
here in
remove it?
America, like back to what I was talking about with ads before. Here in America, you could go to your gyno's office, like your gynecologist. Oh no, my chair! I think I got to fix it. Ah, my cookie. Anyways, gynecologists will literally have ads for different types of birth control that basically come to them and be like, hey, you know, you should use our product. Our product is better because of this, this, and this, and it's crazy. This is just like when you get interrupting Mr. Uggles who would let him speak. No, I want to talk about how it's like very prevalent, like reinforce what they're saying. The
And result
ads
to
So
are
we
conflict of
real.
interest.
should we not allow conflict
Wait,
of
let,
interest?
let me
It's
just catch up on
crazy.
your
All right,
point.
all right.
I agree that conflict of interest can create bias. I agree that pharmaceutical companies pay doctors and it could bias them.
They're on the same
You're
team.
not
as
from
us.
Yes.
America. I'm
Okay.
explaining
Secretary
the
Kennedy make money?
experience.
Absolutely.
Has he been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by
Sir.
law firms to pursue vaccine claims?
These are because these
Why
are
does
lawsuits.
that not bias
These are
him?
lawsuits that he himself
But
has
why
gone after the
doesn't-
company for.
Why doesn't it bias him? Why, when he gets paid by Children's Health Defense, why does that not bias him? Why are you looking at bias only in one direction?
So you kind of have a problem
That's
here, and
a
you're
fair
just assuming that
question.
his intention is bad.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I'm asking why
So
you're
if he is
choosing
setting
to
up-
say bias is
so
bad here but not here.
If he is, if he's
I'm
the one-
agreeing with you on your side. Why are you disagreeing with me with bias with him receiving
Well,
payments? Do you know how
You're
much
not
money
even
he's
letting
gotten
talk.
paid by pharmaceutical companies?
Give me the figure.
No, you won't know because he's not a doctor. He doesn't have to disclose it.
What
If
does
he
this
got-
have to do with him receiving?
Because the
he's
reason
not.
you know doctors do it is because we disclose it to try and reduce bias. He doesn't have to. Huberman does ads You know who Andrew Huberman
Absolutely.
is? A very popular
Yes, sir.
doctor. He does ads for Athletic Greens all the time. Do you know how much he gets paid? No, he doesn't have to disclose it. Isn't there bias there?
So there's a difference between an influencer and a
It's true.
physician
He's
that
not
is
an
direct.
influencer. He has
I'm talking about Andrew.
PhD.
Andrew is an influencer, right? Then somebody that's your family practice doctor that's prescribing you
What
the
about the
medicine
Secretary
directly.
of Health and Human Services?
So here's the
He's
thing.
getting money. How is that
He has
impacting his
gotten
decisions?
money in the past. He doesn't take payments anymore. He can't. And
Do you
so,
know who's taking payments on his behalf?
You're probably gonna say his wife. I
His
don't know.
son.
Okay, well here's the thing about
But
that.
isn't this all a problem
Most
for
of
you?
these are cases that he himself has fought. He himself
Yeah.
has gotten into the court and he himself has won, and then he receives payments from that.
Don't you feel that you're being unfair by saying bias
true.
on one side but not bias on the other side when it's the same scenario?
Look, it's the thing is that it's two different things, right? You're talking about every doctor in
It's not
America,
two
and
different
70%
things.
of them are paid off, versus this guy who's been winning lawsuits, and this is mainly because he found something in the environment and then it gets taken out, specifically chemicals or whatever it is. So I think these are two different things. And I think that in today's America, we're in a moment where we need reform rather than just going along.
I agree.
So I think we agree on so
He's
much.
not
Beth.
making the reform.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
in
okay.
order-
We're out of time. Thank you.
so much. I
I
appreciate
do
it.
have to get going too. How do people fall into these rhetorical traps? There's an easy out Mr. Farrell can use here, but he's arguing the particulars so poorly. It's because nobody is perfect. Like, oh my goodness. One thing I do really want to address that I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily talk about, that I think is insanely important, is that being good at public speaking and public debates and public argument is inherently a skill. So RFK Jr. Is pretty decent at public speaking, getting people to he's inaccurate with a lot of what he says, but he's good at getting people to feel the emotions that he's trying to convey for the most part. He can kind of like boost himself up even if he doesn't really have a lot to back what he actually has or is or whatever. Now, most professionals who are like doctors and in any space, like athletes even too, and you could even talk about like whatever, journalist, well I guess journalists have to be better at like most of the time, speaking and writing and stuff. But like, I don't know, someone who's like a scientist isn't always going to be the best at public speaking, and getting someone who is very, very, very rare. That's why Dr. Mike is kind of like an oddity in the medical field, because he's actually, and yes I am, take that back right now. I don't see you doing public speaking events, Darius. Sorry. You don't have a social media page dedicated to athleticism, and you're not doing public speaking, so sorry. Yes, I do. Okay. I believe you. Get wrecked. No proof. Don't believe you. Sorry. Anyways, it's quite rare. I just got dog on you a little bit. But it is quite rare for people to have both those skills, like the intellectual skill within their field and the experience. That's a very big hitter right there, as well as the ability to speak about it coherently. So people like RFK Jr. is kind of lacking in both. He's been able to do a lot of lawsuits and stuff, and he's been able to leverage his social connections to get to the position that he has. And that's not necessarily something that equates to public speaking experience. He should not be speaking on a lot of these matters because he's not good at it. Same with Kristi Noem. She's not a good fucking public speaker at all. She misspeaks, she mishandles situations constantly, and she basically just throws Trump under the bus and the administration under the bus constantly because she cannot pivot on her feet. Patel is a little bit better at it, but not even that. It's just, some people are just bad at public speaking. Daria says, any research is not presented like it's an Apple product launch. It's just Ellie says, RFK Jr. should be under adult supervision, let alone leading any department. True, and that's why there's impeachment articles that are going to be filed against him. I think they already have been. Like, let's see. RFK Jr. impeach. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah, there's a House Democrat that did it. Michigan Democrat Haley Stevens put those files down. But it's just, it's crazy. Darius says there's a huge conferences where loads of people sit there in little corners with big posters of the key findings of their research ready to break out into pitches. But that's the thing, it's very, very rehearsed. Like when you do public speaking, if you're a good public speaker, the majority of your public speaking is not going to be rehearsed. It's going to be on the fly. You're going to be able to like pivot, handle different things. You're going to have off days or whatever, because everyone does, off time periods, everybody does. Look at everybody here on Twitch. But you can have people like, I'm gonna put out streamers and shit like that. You can have people like Asmund Gold who have little to no like education when it comes to this topics that he's discussing. Like he hasn't gone to school for it. He doesn't have a lot of like hands-on experience with like politics or social issues or even like psychology to understand stuff, but he talks about it anyways. And the reason why people watch him is because he's a semi-decent public speaker. He appeals to his audience well. He frames things well. And I don't like his ideas. I don't like his topics. But a lot of people on the left are like, why is he so popular? He's so fucking stupid. They just make people feel good about what he's saying. They think it's all the rhetoric, but it's in his presentation that makes him appealing to people. That's why he's so big right now. You had people like Piker or whatever who were in like the same realm, but the audience has aged and he is like, I guess, probably transitioning his like presentation and stuff to accommodate to that. So a lot of people do it, and not all of them have a ton of experience. They're just good at public speaking. Some people try to back it up by doing a lot of research stuff. Other people don't. Some people sell out and other people don't. At some point, and when you're a public speaker, you do inherently sell out in some fashion. But that's just how it is. Because public speaking infers a script most of the time. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you're good at public speaking, you're going to be able to pivot your entire presentation to accommodate to who your audience is. Like, I'm not the best public speaker. Am I a decent public speaker? Yeah, I grew up doing it. I grew up giving lots of discussions to lots of different people. That is what I was born and bred to do. That's where my social skills lie. And sometimes you just have to let yourself be stupid, let yourself do all this crazy stuff. Like my job, my literal job is to do speaking and give presentations. And I don't even have a script anymore. I like highlight things that I want to touch on. But if my audience is not like reciprocating what I'm saying, then I'm going to... You seem to think public speaking is some form of jazz. It is. It is. You have to pivot. Like, if your audience isn't necessarily understanding what you're saying or their attention is getting lost, they're like idling, they're not looking at stuff or what you're saying or really paying attention to you, you have to pivot your information. You have to pivot your presentation style. Not most of the time, public speaking isn't going to be like when you sit there and you have like a huge fucking audience of like hundreds of thousands of people, or you're sitting there in front of like reporters and stuff like RFK. Like RFK cannot do public speaking. He is not good when anybody asks him any questions. Anything that goes off of his script, he buffers and he fails. Like a good public speaker is able to go off script, reinforce their statements, not even a debate style, just be like, this is what it is. You know, this is how it is. This is why it is the way it is. And be able to rephrase their same point into many, like translate it into so many different ways. That's what it is. There's 20 people on screen that would disagree with you. It's because that's his audience. These are the people that like what he's saying. Ellie says he's not good because he isn't really knowledgeable about the content. He can't pivot. He just knows the talking points he always leans on. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why he can't really, like, people who are in the medical field or scientific professionals or anything like that, they really struggle with things that RFK Jr. says. And that's for good reason, because they need it to be translated in a different way that RFK Jr. cannot do. What are the talking points you refer to? Some kind of scripted content? Yes. Yes. Like, Tylenol creates autism. He'll just be like, well, you know, there's lots of studies that say this or whatever. And then they'll be like, what's the studies? And he'll be like, I don't know it right now. It's not necessarily scripted. He sticks to a specific, I guess you could say script, but an actual person who is knowledgeable in the things that they're discussing will be able to rephrase it fluently to appeal to a different audience. And he cannot do that. This is why the people who are not highly educated in medicinal work will be like, oh yeah, no, he's like kind of full of shit. He's not reliable. He's promoting stuff to just promote the president's agenda and not really trying to follow suit with actual technical information. It's like, he's not knowledgeable enough about it. If you look at other people who have been in charge of like the medical things, like possibly the CDC and stuff like that, you can see that they're able to translate the information well. If you are in a high position in anything, whether that be like a C-level position or any position where you are required to speak a lot, most of the time they will hire someone who is good at public speaking, good at that translation process, over someone who has the experience every fucking time. The thing that Trump fucked up, like, because he probably could have gotten away with a lot more to shit that he's been trying to pull right now if he got someone who's actually good at fucking public speaking. Instead of fucking Kristi Noem, getting someone who's better at talking about the shit, not willing to take shit. Instead of fucking Kash Patel, who looks like a deer in headlights half the fucking time, getting someone who's willing to hound down, twist the topic, and reframe it in a way and be like, you know, like, not just trying to be like, oh, well, what do you know, or whatever, like the same thing that they do all the time, but being like, well, you know, this is information that's above your skill level, I can't do it. Like, literally, they are so bad at their job because they're not good at public speaking. If you want to con people, at least do a good fucking job doing it. Like, just come on. Come on, like, fake it till you make it. Like, actors would make a way, way better, like, if someone who actually had acting experience would do way better in those positions than these people are. And I'm not even joking with you. Because at least they can memorize the lines and different aspects of the character that they're trying to portray. These people are so stuck in their head that they can't move past it. And it sucks. Like, people like Dr. Mike, I don't agree with everything he's doing, but he's good, like, all of his takes and everything like that. But he follows through with what he says, and he's good at public speaking. He tries to translate his message for the audience that he has, which is something that RFK Jr. cannot do. If they were put together, they would not have a good discussion. Elle says, to be in a public service position, you need to be able to address the public in a knowledgeable manner, which these people cannot do. Kristi Noem, like, literally, he is a great communicator. Yes, that's why he has the position he does. And that's why these people don't trust him. Because people like this trust people who are bad communicators because they view them to be more knowledgeable. It's like what we were talking about before. How having someone who is a great communicator and highly knowledgeable is very rare. For me, I've done a lot of public speaking stuff, and I can kind of like carry myself and be like, yeah, I fucked up or whatever. I don't know all this. But the things that I'm actually really knowledgeable about, it can be hard for me to discuss because it's like, how do I have to reframe it? That's why I have a public speaking job. That's what helps me do better. That's why I teach. That's why I do all that stuff, because it's a skill that I need to refine if I want to have a good career. Like, in anything I want to do. Like, I'm not even joking with you. Because that is one of the most valuable things that you can have in a business environment. Good public speaking skills and good social literacy skills. And if you don't have that, you're just going to fail over and over and over again. Doesn't matter how good you are. But a lot of people are like, oh, a lot of people who are really knowledgeable at stuff aren't good at public speaking or good at communicating that. So if I see someone who's bad at the communication process, then therefore they're probably really good at what they're doing because I can't understand them. They're at such another level that I probably won't be able to understand. That is the mindset that these people have. And they're not understanding that someone who is knowledgeable, who is a good public speaker, will be able to translate it for them. They don't trust that because they view it to be propaganda, or they view it to be someone selling to them. That's why they follow RFK. It has nothing really to do about his history, his experience, his backstory. Some people are more parasocially involved with him, but this is what it is. And it's the same thing with people like with Kristi Noem, which is insane, and Kash Patel. I've seen it literally with these people these are the three worst speakers that Trump has, like, recommended to be in any position that he has backed. And still, they suck at it. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is way better than these people are, and I don't even like her. But she's good at speaking, even though she has little to no knowledge about what she's discussing. She really doesn't. So it's like, he fucked up. He fucked up. Marjorie Taylor Greene was so popular because she's good at speaking. She's not great. Trump was so popular because he's good at speaking. He is. He's good at getting people involved. He's good at people to, like, she's wackadoodle too, for sure, for sure. Don't get me wrong, but Trump started failing and showing the cracks in his campaign. And this isn't even me being devil's advocate. This is me saying this is why he's failing right now, not getting away with the same shit. It's because he's hiring people who can't play the game. And he needs them to play the game. And he's too stupid to find people who can actually play the game, or people who are willing to sell out for him in that way. Because no one wants to anymore. After the way his first administration went, or, 2016 and everything, they were like, no one who would be good at it would want to work for him anymore. And that's just how it is. Yeah. And all the people that he did hire on and did promote, who were good at speaking and everything, and semi were aligned to his agenda, are starting to go against him. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene. You have, the head of the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell, who literally said in a press conference, I believe it was like 2 or so days ago, where he literally was like, all of these issues that we're having with finances is due to tariffs. It's due to Trump not allowing workers to come in. It's due to all this stuff. So he literally went against what Trump said all the jobs report, all these issues are, all the inflation and stuff is literally due to Trump and what he's been doing. And Trump is pissed. He said in a statement to the public, I can't remember if it was like a couple days ago or whatever, but like, I think it was after the fact, the public event that he had after that, he said that Powell was not fit for office or something along those lines, and who hired him? Even though he hired him. But the problem is that Trump is trying to overstretch so far that finding someone who is intelligent enough to do the propaganda machine, but also intelligent enough to, like, handle the position at hand, that isn't lining up. Like, someone who actually has integrity with the work that they're going to do isn't going to want to blatantly lie all the time and destroy their career for him. And that's just how it is. Anyways, I gotta go. I've been, like, talking for so long. But this is something I'm extremely passionate about. Can you tell? Can you tell? Something that I value quite a lot. And the more I watch, the more concerned I get. And the more I'm like, oh, okay, this is all going to follow in its own time. But the thing that concerns me the most, are you going to press play or keep public speaking conceptually incorrect? No, I'm not getting it. Literally, Darius, it's my job. If that was your job, I feel like you could talk about it. But I was born and bred into this. My family business was literally media. So, like, this is what I grew up doing. I know a lot about this. Like, I have hours and hours and hours of public speaking. And that doesn't mean I'm the best public speaker, but I know the process and I know what works, especially when it comes to propaganda, because that's what my family was involved in. So, yeah, I guess from a well-known American bloodline of public speaking. Oh, it's not great, but it is what it is. It's just, yeah. It's just in charge of propaganda for a church. One of the biggest churches in America. Not even America, in the world, but it's like that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, not the best. I'm not going to sit here and defend myself to be there. But I know how it works, and I know what sells. And that stuff fucking sells. Microsoft Excel is also in the blood, it's known. Bro. In the blood, by the blood. But anyways. I gotta stretch a little bit, and then I gotta go make food. I gotta make food, and I have homework to do. I'm quite excited. sing your song. Oh, well, yeah, I do have to give you an update before I sing my song, sir. Anyways, I won't be here tomorrow. I have work to do tomorrow. Just so you know. And, yeah. Anyways, I guess it's time for me to go. Now, actually, yes, it is public speaking related. Just so you know. And all of my internships are public speaking related. And I end up doing a lot of, like, or put into, like, press positions, even though I don't want to. And I turn it down sometimes, depending on the job, because I want my career to be something different. Anyways, I do have to go. So I will be back here on Sunday. We're probably going to be playing Hollow Knight because I think it'll be really fun. And then I need to upload all my links. Also, bye, Elle. Thank you. And I'm not saying I'm like the best public speaker in the world or whatever. I'm just saying that this is like, it's what I've been around most of my life. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And sleep well, stay safe, stay alive, and dance.